Washington, Billy Kilmer and the Redskins once again have their backs to the wall, and a victory over the Los Angeles Rams today will keep their playoff hopes alive on this 14th NFL weekend.
Happy holidays, everyone. Isaiah Robertson is one of the key reasons the Los Angeles Rams are tough to score on. I talked to the All-Pro linebacker about the season, then found out personally just how hard he tackles. Irv?
Phyllis, you know, when it's time to win the must game, George Allen goes to the over 30 set among his Washington Redskins, and Calvin Hill is usually the most reliable. I spoke with the all-purpose back about the advantage of experience and if that will be enough to beat the Rams today.
Irv and Phyllis, 4 playoff spots remain, but already every team in the NFL is looking ahead to next year's draft. We'll talk about the top prospects, and Jimmy the Greek says the Redskins are far from dead. Jack Whitaker reviews the year in sports. All that and more coming up on the NFL Today.
Set! Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
NFL Today is sponsored by Tuborg Gold, the golden beer of Danish kings. Tuborg Breweries Limited, Baltimore, Maryland. From the CBS Sports Control in New York, here's Brent Musburger.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, we are down to the final weekend, and Phyllis, what about the Washington Redskins? They must be the most resilient team in all of pro sports.
I think that's the best way you can put it. Do you remember back in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th week we were counting them out, and now they're coming on like gangbusters, and it's exciting for George Allen. He's beside himself.
You know, one story that fans always like, beyond who's going to make the playoffs, is who will my favorite team draft? Who are the top prospects coming out? Well, if they held the college draft tomorrow, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have the top pick. Irv Cross went out and talked to a gentleman and a team who know as much about the college draft as any team in the NFL.
Going into their 11th playoff appearance in the last 12 years, the Dallas Cowboys are a unique example of what can be accomplished through the college draft. 42 of the Dallas players were either signed as draftees or free agents, while only one player has ever played for another team. Responsible for keeping Dallas stocked with talent is Vice President of Personnel Development Gil Brandt, a man who knows well the gems that'll be found in this spring's college draft. Gil, how does this year's college crop look to you?
Well, Irv, I think it's a good college crop this year. I think there's probably 4 good rounds of players that will help their teams in the National Football League in the future. West Chandler, Florida, is an outstanding receiver. I think McAfee at Notre Dame is another outstanding receiver. Ozzie Newsome at Alabama is another outstanding receiver. There's about 5 or 6 of them that are going to come into the league this year that are going to do a great job when they come in. I think that there's people that have the potentials to be the Mel Grays, the Drew Pearsons coming out of this year's draft. Well, I think that it's an unusual year as far as quarterbacks is concerned. I think that Doug Williams of Grambling has great potential in professional football. He has a strong arm. He's 6'3". He has everything that you look for in a quarterback. I think that where he is drafted in this year's draft is going to depend on what he does in the Senior Bowl game this year, the East-West game.
Do the Cowboys put much emphasis on evaluating players in bowl games?
We feel this way, that we've had 3 years of information on a football player, and we just don't want to rub out 3 years of information for one game if he does well in a game or poorly in a game. A good example is Walter Payton 3 years ago in the East-West game. Walter Payton carried the ball 14 times for 42 yards or 3 yards per carry. I think if you drafted Walter Payton off of his performance in the East-West game, he wouldn't have been the 3rd player picked in the draft.
The most likely #1 pick in the pro draft is Heisman Trophy winner Earl Campbell from Texas. Before the 1977 season, the #1 Heisman candidate was Terry Miller, who rushed for over 100 yards 27 times and gained almost 5,000 yards at Oklahoma State.
Well, Irv, I think you can take Terry Miller, and Earl Campbell and quit right there. I'd just like to draft those two and forget about the rest of the draft. Earl Campbell is just an absolutely super running back. I think he's going to come into the National Football League and be an instant hero. He has all the qualities and ingredients that you look for in a top-flight running back. We would love to have Earl Campbell on our football team. I think everybody in the National Football League would love to have Earl Campbell. In order to get Earl Campbell, you cannot destroy your football team. If we could make a trade with Tampa Bay, in which would be beneficial to both teams, yes, we would try to make that trade. But after the publicity of the Dorsett trade, which I think has worked out great for both teams, Seattle has won 4 games and has a chance to win 5. We are a contender for the Super Bowl. I think it's worked out well for both teams, but the publicity seems to be that we got the best of Seattle. I don't agree with that, and I think over the years' time that you'll find that Seattle made an excellent trade.
The rumor you hear is that the Cowboys might be willing to give a backup quarterback and their punter Danny White to Tampa Bay in exchange for that #1 draft. Irv, did you get into personnel with Gill, and is it possible they'll make that deal?
Well, we didn't talk about who might be going where or how, Brent, but I think it's important to realize that whether or not a deal is made with Tampa Bay, it'll only be made provided the Dallas Cowboys can still continue to maintain the continuity and structure of their ball club. They want Earl Campbell badly, but they're not going to destroy the team to do it.
Irv, Campbell and Dorsett in the same backfield, who blocks?
The offensive line.
Right. The NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Touche.
Raggedy Ann, the storybook friend of generations of children. She and Raggedy Andy come to life in a new family movie directed by Richard Williams, Oscar-winning director of Dickens' Christmas Carol, with songs by Joe Raposo, whose music made Sesame Street sing. Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy, in a delightful movie from Bob's Merrill, the publishing people of ITT. It's ITT's very first movie, a kind of love song to a couple of favorite dollies we like to share with another generation.
I get so jolly, knowing it's funny but true.
ITT's Raggedy Ann and Andy, at some very lucky local theater.
Can be friends with a dolly like you.
Ryder rents trucks, all kinds of trucks. And Ryder does everything possible to make sure the wipers work, the headlights work, the brakes and steering and transmissions have been checked out. So practically nothing can stop a Ryder truck. Because when you rent trucks, you don't want them to give you problems. You want them to solve your problems. Ryder, the best truck money can rent.
We're closing in on the kickoff for the Washington-Los Angeles game, and a bit later this afternoon, Miami hosts Buffalo, and of course, that's a game that the Dolphins must win. We have a report that it is raining down in Miami, and we'll keep you posted on the weather down there.
Well, it's not raining in the nation's capital. In fact, it's great weather for football. Partly cloudy, high 40s, just an all-around good day. And for a report on that Rams-Redskins game, let's go to Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire. Hello, guys.
Hello, Phyllis. How are you? How about something clever from Washington like the future is now?
Well, you know what I'm worried about? If they played this game on paper, the Rams would blow the Redskins right off. But it's a real grass field here in Washington, and I just have a feeling Chuck Knox told us that they're having a little bit of an intensity problem in L.A. That he doesn't think they worked very well in 2 days this week, and he doesn't think they're really ready to maybe play a big game.
Well, of course, they've got it locked up. They'll be at home in the playoffs next week, regardless of what happens here. The Redskins, well, for them, this is where it's at.
Yeah, and they got the special teams. And if, as I said, 22 against 22, the Rams should win, but the special teams might win this darn thing.
And if the Redskins do win this football game and do make it to the playoffs, they would play the Rams. That's the only team that they can play in the playoffs in Los Angeles. So we think it's going to be a pretty good day.
I'm glad we're here.
I am, too. But let's go back to Phyllis now.
Indeed, a very good day. The future is now. I love that. We should use that for all of us. That's a great comment.
I ain't that old.
Oh. Speaking of the Rams, by the way, I just spoke to Isaiah Robertson, and boy, is he a tough tackler.
He is also one of the big play linebackers in the National Football League. Isaiah Robertson of the Rams.
You keep going, keep working, you'll be the damn best in the league. You got to keep it going, though. You can't start coasting. You'll be the damn king in L.A., but no one's going to give it to you.
The man Chuck Knox is talking to is Isaiah Robertson, unanimous All-Pro linebacker and a vital cog in the Rams defense as they prepare for the playoffs. Isaiah, this has been a complete turnaround for the Rams. You started out slowly this season. Now you've won 8 of your last 9 games. What's going on?
It's been like a crescendo for us this year. We started off on such a low-key type training camp, and it's been that constant rise from week 1.
What's your relationship with Chuck Knox?
Chuck Knox. Chuck Knox is probably one of the most inspirational type human beings I've ever met. He set a great foundation for me, the foundation for not only my football, but also my personal life. I can't say enough about it.
Isaiah, what's your greatest moment in professional football?
One particular play? The Sonny Jurgensen interception against Washington 2 years ago, I think. I kind of set it up. I kind of gave him an outside move to invite him to throw it. And when he talked back to let it go, I jumped on it, and it was just that was probably the greatest sensation that I've ever had in my career. That has to be great.
When your number's called on the blitz and it's you all alone, one-on-one with the quarterback, what does that feel like?
It's kind of like, getting married or something, having a baby for the first time. I don't know. But to me, see 80,000 people just, rise because you just really stuck somebody. It's a chemistry that goes through the body that you have to feel it to be able to express it, I guess.
I've jogged with George Allen, I caught a pass from Brian Sipe, I threw a bomb to Drew Pearson, and I held for Garo Yepremian. But there's one thing I've always wondered about, how it feels to be tackled. So I picked one of the toughest, meanest guys in the NFL. Are you ready, Isaiah?
All right, Phyllis. I'm coming at you now.
Hey, Isaiah, are you all right?
Oh, that was some collision there. No fake photography involved.
Phyllis, now you know what it's like to be a middle linebacker in the National Football League.
You thought Bednarik hitting Gifford was hard. Look at him. I hope he's playing today.
I am sure he's all right. The NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Tuborg Gold, the golden beer of Danish kings. By appointment to the Royal Danish Court. Tuborg Gold. Only centuries of the Danish brewer's art could achieve its noble character for lightness and flavor. Tuborg Gold, now brewed in America. So, for about what you'd pay for the king of beers, you can now have Tuborg Gold, the golden beer of Danish kings.
I'm Roger Staubach of the Dallas Cowboys. On the field, my grip on the ball gives me the control I need. On the road, the Armstrong grip works the same way. Armstrong tires grip the road to ride you and your family in safety and comfort. Ask your independent Armstrong dealer about the Coronet steel-belted radial. Armstrong tires grip the road.
Tadpole, get a complete rod and reel. Get the Tadpole.
Tadpole, the snappy little rod and reel. Big on performance, compact in size. Goes anywhere for anyone who wants to fish on a moment's notice. Flip up rod and get ready to reel them in. A great gift for everyone.
Get a complete rod and reel. Get the Tadpole.
Unbelievably priced at only $9.99.
Available at Sears, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth and Woolco, and other participating stores in your area.
Muriel, turn you on. That is my desire. Muriel lights a flame in me. Where there's Muriel smoke, there's fire. Where there's Muriel smoke, there's fire.
For the second game in a row, it will be Billy Kilmer and not Joe Theismann directing the Washington attack. Irv Cross was down in Washington earlier this week. And, Irv, what was the mood of the players?
Well, I tell you, Brett, there's a great deal of tension down there. As far as the Redskins are concerned, this is a do-or-die situation for them this afternoon, and today's game is their championship ball game.
And I know that one of the players you talked to specifically was Calvin Hill, who last week scored the first touchdown against St. Louis on a pass from Billy Kilmer. And Hill had some interesting thoughts.
Pressure time is here. Last week with the Cardinals, this week with the Rams. And when the pressure is on, George Allen inevitably turns to the oldest of the over-the-hillers to get the job done. Last week against St. Louis, 38-year-old Billy Kilmer brought offense back into the Washington game plan. Now ask veteran Redskin running back Calvin Hill just what it is that Kilmer adds to the Washington attack.
Well, you know, without really getting into the sort of Joe Theismann versus Billy Kilmer controversy, I think the one thing that Billy has over Joe is experience. And, you know, against a complicated defensive team or a good defensive team, a team that's going to put up a lot of fronts, it's obviously to Billy's, you know, it's in his favor to be able to read these coverages. And he does. You know, he calls a good game, and he's able to throw to the right man.
Last week against St. Louis, 8 times the right man was none other than Calvin Hill, who also scored the game's first touchdown.
You know, it's been so long since I scored. I didn't really realize I'd scored until I looked up and I saw the goalpost, you know, 10 yards away from me, and I realized I must be pretty close to the end zone. And that felt real good. Yeah, there's sort of an interesting rivalry. I know when I was in Dallas, I thought that the biggest rivalry was between Washington and Dallas, and now it's almost a three-way thing. A lot like Yale, Princeton, and Harvard.
Except the caliber of play is just a little higher, I guess.
Just slightly, right.
Calvin, the Ram defense has only given up 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games. Obviously, that concerns you. What do you have to do to beat them?
You know, up until St. Louis, that was about our average, you know, scoring 1 touchdown per game. And, you know, so I'm more concerned about that. Hopefully, St. Louis, the game against St. Louis got us out of that mold, and we realize we can score now, and we have confidence in the things that we do well offensively. And I think, you know, if we consider ourselves a playoff team, then it doesn't matter who we're playing. You know, the Rams, the Cowboys, you know, hopefully one of the AFC teams somewhere down the road. You know, you're going to play top teams, and if you can do the things you do well, then, you know, you do it against any team. And, you know, I look forward to this game. It should be a great challenge for the Redskins team.
Interesting how many fans have told me that when a season starts, they hope that Washington and George Allen lose big, and then it rolls along to about this time of the year, and they say, you got to give those old guys a lot of credit, and they start pulling for the Redskins. Now, 1977 produced some of the most spectacular events of a sports decade, and it's not easy to forget the classic confrontations and wild finishes, and Jack Whitaker, with his discerning eye and poetic style, takes a closer look at what he considers are 4 of the year's most exciting moments.
This has been a memorable year. Any 12-month period that can produce Steve Cawthon, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Oakland Raiders, Kidnapped Horses, Kermit Washington, Baseball in the Rain, Walter Payton, Pelé, and the Old Dodger in the Sky has got to be a memorable year. And here are 4 events I think gave 1977 its luster. Number 1, Seattle Slew's Triple Crown. After waiting 25 years between citation and secretariat for a Triple Crown winner, most of us could not believe that Slew would win another just 5 years later. Not that we doubted Slew, it was just that history seemed to be against him. Well, he did it, and it was an electrifying moment when he crossed the finish line at the Belmont with his jockey Jean Crouget standing in the stirrups, his right arm flung high in the air, saying, "There, you critics, what do you know?" Number 2 is Virginia Wade at Wimbledon. This, of course, was the 100th anniversary of Wimbledon, and the 25th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II, and for an English lady to win made a lot of cups runneth over. It was a great moment for the Britons, and Virginia's victory gave the whole nation a lift. Number 3 was the British Open, probably the best golf tournament we've ever seen. It became a golf match over the last 36 holes, a match between Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus, and in those last 2 days over the sun-filled sandhills of Turnberry, some of the purest golf in the modern era was played. Tom Watson won by a single stroke. And number 4, the World Series and Reggie Jackson. The memory of that last game and the 3 home runs by Jackson will remain for a long time. My golly, we all shouted. He's done it. That fella with all the money who fights with his manager has done the incredible. He may be worth every penny they're paying him. How's that for coming through under pressure? I don't know which of those 4 events I'd put number 1, but I do know that it was a very good year.
Jack alluded to Kermit Washington in his commentary, and a little bit later this afternoon on the CBS Sports Spectacular, NBA Commissioner Lawrence O'Brien will be in our studios. He will discuss the $10,000 fine and the 2-month suspension of Washington, who of course slugged Rudy Tomjanovich of the Houston Rockets a week ago last Friday night. Now, Tomjanovich today remains hospitalized in L.A. He will undergo surgery this afternoon, and he will have that jaw wired shut. He also suffered a concussion in that brawl. So again, Lawrence O'Brien will be here. We'll review the videotapes. We'll take another look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar versus Kent Benson earlier this season. Now, incidentally, referring to Benson, last night in a triple overtime loss to the New York Knicks, Benson was carried off the floor on a stretcher in Milwaukee. He suffered a sprained ankle. Back with Jimmy the Greek as the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
Attention shoppers, the new Atari cartridge game is in.
Excuse me. Uh-oh, George again. Ooh, Atari's ASCII battle. It comes with 27 games, but that's just for starters. You can get 9 cartridges, 187 games.
Blackjack. Oh!
I'd like an Atari.
Sorry, only our demonstrators left.
Mine!
No, George. Mine.
The new video computer system by Atari. More games, more fun.
By appointment to the Royal Danish Court since the reign of Frederick IX, Tuborg Gold proclaimed the golden beer of Danish kings. Today, this light beer of noble heritage is brewed in America, and Tuborg Gold is affordable to everyone. In fact, for about what you pay for the king of beers, you can now have Tuborg Gold, the golden beer of Danish kings.
Let's buy our small computer from the giant computer company. You can't beat Goliath.
No. Right, David?
Sir, let's go with Wang. Nobody makes a better small computer or word processor. They're giant killers.
It happened before. It can happen again, because nobody's hungrier than Wang.
He's right.
Jimmy the Greek, sponsored by Dutch Master Cigars. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
Jimmy, in just a few minutes, they'll be kicking off in Washington, the Los Angeles Rams. A big difference in incentive in this game.
No question about it. The Rams don't have any incentive for this game. In fact, he's going to start Hayden and probably come in with Ferragamo.
What about Namath, Jimmy?
Namath is being saved just in case anything happens to Hayden for the playoffs. I mean, he's got to be for that reason. Youngblood, Elmendorf, and McCutcheon will play very little. Of course, Tyler's speed will help the Rams as much as McCutcheon. This team is sky high for the game. Their practices this week have absolutely been super. I mean, just super, and they're really trying.
But even if they upset the Rams, it would seem to me to be so difficult for the Redskins to get into the playoffs.
That's not a question. No, you're wrong. Because then they've got the Lions and Giants going for them, and either one winning, I mean...
If Detroit beats Minnesota or the Giants stop Chicago, then they get in.
And Brent, on a parlay, that makes the Redskins the favorite for the first time this year.
Jimmy, isn't there a chance, even if Washington loses, that they can get into the playoffs?
Then Minnesota must lose, and they've got to watch the score.
So Washington will play a tough defensive game,
They've got to, absolutely must.
Now, later this afternoon, the focus of attention is on the AFC East, Buffalo in Miami. Greek, did the Dolphins ever have trouble with the Bills?
15-0. Shula, for some reason, and the Miami team seemed to read Ferguson quite well, or should we say the Buffalo team quite well. Buffalo's full of rumors of dissatisfied players. Chandler wants to be traded. Everybody wants to be traded all of a sudden. Ferguson will pass 35 times today anyway, at the request of the owner.
The owner has stepped in to dictate the game plan?
Well, he thinks that they've got some chance if they pass more. Well, because everybody knows they're going to run right, so they've stacked up the left side. But I'll tell you one thing. Miami's practices haven't been too good this week either. But they will win it. There's no question in my mind.
Is there any chance Ringo can save his job at Buffalo if he upsets Miami?
The odds are 100 to 1 against him, and I'll tell you, he's a good man.
The third game today in the NFL triple header. The focus switches to the NFC. Central Minnesota at Detroit. Vikes need this one.
No question about it. They better win, because if they don't, they're a big underdog to be out for the first time in a long time. Grant's beaten his team 17 out of 19 times. Last week against Oakland, they played very lackadaisical. You know, they were looking at Detroit. They'll win this game somehow, some way.
What did the Raiders think about young Tommy Kramer after they came out of that game?
They put pressure on him, and they thought that he stood up quite well.
Is there any way, then, that Minnesota can control this game from beginning to end? How are they going to win it, Greg?
Well, they're going to control it with play-action plays and win it with a block kick.
A block kick. I'll write that down. Right. Jimmy, I want to talk to you more about that Buffalo coaching situation. Back with that on the Greek's Grapevine in just a moment.
Introducing Dutch Masterpieces. Dutch Masters gift cigar tins inspired by 19th century collector's items. Now you can have the fun of giving them too. This one holds 25 great tasting presidents. And this one, 25 mild Dutch Masters Panatellas. Get them now where gift wrap boxes of 50 Dutch Masters are featured. See why there really are masters at Dutch Masters?
A couple of people have called. Apparently, I said that the Knicks won that game out of Milwaukee. They did not. It was a magnificent basketball game, but Milwaukee won it triple overtime, 152 to 150. It almost went 4 overtimes. Now, Jimmy, let's talk about the coaching situation up at Buffalo. Who might replace Jim Ringo?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Walsh coming from Stanford over, but I think he's kind of happy there. I'll tell you what, it's just my own opinion on this. I think he's going to take someone from his own staff, because he gave them 2-year contracts. I'm talking about Wilson, and I think he may go to Jim Carr for a year.
Now, of course, we've got Cleveland still looking for a head coach with
Baltimore, Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City, and then you got Baltimore.
Hold on. We'll take them one.
I mean, you know, there's 12 different ones.
What about some of the teams you mentioned, like Baltimore and the Giants and the 49ers?
Well, Baltimore and Cincinnati coaching changes would depend on the outcome of the games tomorrow. New Orleans and Stram, I mean, he's got a $500,000 that Meekum would have to come up with. The Giants, I think it would be personnel changes. The 49ers in Washington. I'll tell you this. I still think that this is going to be one of the biggest changes in football, and I'm going to say it right now. Allen's going to go to the Rams, and Knox is going to go to Detroit. And I'll get my head cocked.
Say that again. Can you repeat one more time? That's what I thought you
What's
said.
What's interesting about the prediction that the Greek just made is that those two gentlemen are about to square off. Knox as coach of the Los Angeles Rams and Allen as coach of the Washington Redskins. And, of course, as Pat Summerall told you, if Washington gets into the playoffs, then they would meet again. So you heard the Greek. You can all write it down, and we'll see if he's right or wrong. For Jimmy the Greek, Irv Cross, and Phyllis George, I'm Brent Musburger, and we certainly hope that you enjoy the NFL Today on CBS.
The NFL Today is sponsored by Wang, makers of small computers and word processors. Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to see their better ideas for 78, including Fairmont, the Ford in your future. Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of world-renowned Budweiser. Anytime's the right time to say Budweiser. And by Visa, the new name for Bank Americard. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station. Don't miss 60 Minutes as it moves to 8/7 Central Time tomorrow only on CBS.
You are looking at a magic means of transportation. New Dodge Magnum XE, a splendid combination of touring car and luxury car. Consider Magnum XE's exciting update of the classic cord-type grille. Inside, a place of sophisticated instrumentation, electronic wizardry, snug, crafted, comfortable. See the new Dodge Magnum XE, a magic means of transportation.
Tadpole, get a complete rod and reel. Get the Tadpole.
Tadpole, the snappy little rod and reel, big on performance, compact in size. Goes anywhere for anyone who wants to fish on a moment's notice. Flip up rod and get ready to reel them in. A great gift for everyone.
Get a complete rod and reel. Get the tadpole.
Unbelievably priced at only $9.99. At Sears, Woolworth Wilco, J.M. Fields, Wayland, Nescott, Mays, and Super X.
Reuniti.
I'm not surprised.
Reuniti. And to all, a good night.
Channel 2, New York.
We're in Robert F. Kennedy Stadium in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., for the match between the Los Angeles Rams and the Washington Redskins. And good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire.
How you doing?
Great to do a game like this, isn't it?
It's a playoff game, even though there's still 12 teams alive today for those spots.
Those Redskin coaches were looking up at the gray skies and saying, boy, this is Billy Kilmer weather. On a sunshiny day, they say he's no good. But on a day like this, he's great.
He's dynamite. Well, you know, Whiskey's coming off a big win over St. Louis last week. And, of course, he's one of our favorite people. But Pat Hayden is a leading quarterback right now. And I still think it's the guys that wear the size 13s, Ds on the line of scrimmage that are going to settle it. And this man might have one of the best offensive lines in football in front of him. When Doug France came back, the Rams began to run the football as well as they throw the football, which is important. Billy Kilmer's team has got to move it on the ground. And, Patrick, they're 24th and 28 teams. They only get about 120-some-odd yards a game on the ground. And I really believe they've got to force it on the ground a little bit, or Billy can't even get time to throw.
Weather at noon was 45 degrees, humidity of 76%, the wind out of the northeast. A 20% chance of rain, they say. Cloudy day, and as I mentioned just a second ago, this, they think, is Kilmer weather. The kind he likes, the kind when he's effective.
And, Patrick, you can't computerize what a football will do. That darn thing is oblong, and it bounces in strange directions, and these fellas will be making sure it's always kosher, right?
The referee is Bob Frederick. The head linesman is George Murphy. The back judge, Don Porter. The umpire is Lou Palazzi. The line judge, Art Holtz, and the field judge is Bob Wortman. The Redskins will kick off. Mark Mosley. I beg your pardon. The Redskins will receive. The Rams will kick off. Number 1, Raphael Septien. And deep for Washington, Eddie Brown, who always seems to give them good field position. He came up with a great interception last week to finish off the St. Louis Cardinals. Eddie Brown is number 25. Septien is number 1. Here we go. A side around side kick. On the far side is Mark Murphy with the return, swinging wide to his right. At about the 16-yard line, down he goes, stopped by Jackie Wallace.
Now remember, this Ram defense has shut out 3 people this year and thought they should have shut out the Atlanta Falcons last week. Here's the backfield. Mike Thomas has a bad shin. He didn't practice much, but he never does. Young Harmon at fullback, and, of course, Billy Kay at quarterback.
It'll be 1st and 10 Redskins. The line of scrimmage is 16. A long time in the huddle on the first play for Washington. Kilmer breaks him out. And Calvin Hill is starting at one of the deep back spots. At the deep spot, I should say. Hill behind Harmon. Both behind Kilmer. A fake. Fugit almost had it. Had it knocked away by Dave Elmendorf.
Elmendorf almost had it, too. Tried to flood the zone, and Fugit, of course, might be the key today. They're the receivers. Charlie Taylor, who I guess has all the records for an active receiver. Frank Grant, who hasn't caught a ball in a couple of weeks. And the fellow that we just talked about, Fugit.
There's the offensive line for the Redskins. Stokes, Saul, Hawes, Hermeling, and Stark. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And they got to look out for the yellow flag, don't they? They got a tough bunch to block.
You wonder about the Rams' attitude about coming into this game. It really doesn't mean that much to them, except that they're playing against George Allen. The handoff to Calvin Hill from Kilmer. He struggled for a couple. Elmendorf, number 42, on the bottom of the pile, along with Fred Dreyer.
Calvin hasn't been used much as a running back. We've seen him lately, particularly against St. Louis, on the third down situations, the passing situations. And there is that group of Rams on the front down side. Brooks, Jones, super strong inside. Youngblood, the big pass rusher, and Freddie Dreyer always somewhere.
They're the linebackers. Youngblood again. That's Jim Youngblood. Reynolds in the middle, and Isaiah Robertson. The secondary, Thomas, Jackson, Elmendorf, and Simpson.
Incredibly talented, that secondary.
3rd and 8 situation for the Redskins. Down goes Kilmer. Larry Brooks, number 90, is the sacker. Here it comes.
This is the 7th sack for Larry Brooks. Watch them. They'll do a twist inside. You can see the tackles exchanging in the middle. The Dreyer is flying by on the outside, which opens it up. And I'll tell you, number 90 was not only solid when Merlin Olsen played there, but he's going to the Pro Bowl with really good credentials. He's some kind of a player.
Mike Bragg is number 4. Billy Waddy back deep for the Rams. That's Cullen Bryant, number 32. Trying to swing around to the right side. He does, but the Redskins, as usual, cover it well. 41-yard kick by Bragg. Pete Wysocki, one of the leaders of the special teams for the Redskins, made that tackle.
They covered it well, didn't they? But the Rams come out after the first exchange in pretty good shape. Pat Hayden, by the way, is the last Ram quarterback to lead the league in passing with Van Brocklin back in '54. The young man's on top.
There's that offensive line that Tom Brookshire was talking about just a minute ago, and there is Pat Hayden. Running backs McCutcheon and Capoletti behind Hayden. That's Lawrence McCutcheon, already over 1,000 yards and well over, straight ahead.
The incredible thing about McCutcheon is the balance. He never seems to turn on too much. His longest run ever for the Rams has been 48 yards, which was last week. But darn if he doesn't just pile up those 100-yard days, doesn't he?
There's the Washington linebackers. Dusek, McClinton in the middle, and Hamburger on the other side. And the secondary. Gerard Williams is the guy that most teams have been working on. A 6-yard pickup by McCutcheon on first down, make it 2nd and 4. McCutcheon again, straight ahead. Short of a first down by about a yard. Again tackled by number 65, Dave Butts.
Imagine a team that offensively is rushing the football because of Capoletti and McCutcheon. They're averaging over 180 yards a game on the ground. It's hard to get it away. Huh?
Who's done such an outstanding job in Los Angeles.
What's Reynolds doing? He's given classroom discussions on the sidelines to the coach, Malovasi.
Double tight end situation now on 3rd and 1. Hayden gives to McCutcheon. Don't believe he got it. Brad Dusek, number 59, was the guy who hit him first.
Boy, he jumped into the hole just in time, too, didn't he, on that short yardage situation. Dusek has been playing extremely well.
Number 72 on his back there is ex-Ram Dyron Talbot. 65 is Dave Butts.
He came with George, didn't he, Talbot?
Sure did.
That was back before the turn of the century they came here together.
They've known each other a long time. Here's Fred Dreyer. Rather loose individual.
Always.
They do not get the first down, and the Rams will have to punt. Eddie Brown will go deep for Washington. Ram punter is Glenn Walker.
He's had his problems.
Number 19 is deep.
This is where the Redskins excel, and these kind of teams right here, they're coming. Nope, they're blocked.
Eddie Brown standing back at the 10.
Ooh.
Not quite. Jim Jodat was the Ram that tried to prevent that ball from going into the end zone. It was a 40-yard punt. So the Redskins will have their second possession. No score. 11:46 left to play, first quarter.
America's best-selling new car in history, the new Ford Fairmont. What's behind Fairmont's success? Fairmont's mileage, highest EPA mileage rating of any mid-size car. Fairmont's roominess, more room for the money than any other car. Fairmont's price, lowest sticker price of any mid-size car. Test drive America's best-selling new car ever at your Ford dealer, where the better ideas keep coming.
America, you've been changing.
Coming, going, changing, growing, the things that make up life.
Why is Bank AmeriCard becoming Visa? To keep up with you.
You're traveling, you're moving, you're taking more from life.
Today you need money that's good around the corner, all across America, and in 117 countries around the world. That's why Bank AmeriCard is becoming Visa, the most widely recognized card in the world. Visa, we're keeping up with you.
A little extra help in the booth today in the person of my daughter.
Her smile just lights up the booth, I'll tell you that.
Can't you? Thank you. 1st and 10, Redskins. At the 20. Billy Kilmer, the quarterback. No scores yet. 11:46 left to play first quarter. Frank Grant was the guy in motion, and that is Calvin Hill for a couple, not much more than that. He got back to the line of scrimmage, was met by Jack Reynolds and Cody Jones.
How about Hacksaw Reynolds before the game? And I said, "Are you ready?" And I had to say it 5 times. I thought he was going to come over and smite me down. Finally, when he got over there, he mumbled something and said, "Yeah."
I thought he was going to hit you.
Yeah, don't ever let him do that, Patrick.
I would.
Pretty good defensive ball club right here. Less than 10 points average per game scored on him. I'm telling you, that's tough.
It'll be a second down. Calvin Hill got a yard. Frank Grant is foot wide to the right. Taylor is on the other side. Kilmer drops. Again. Over the head to Harmon. Harmon breaks one tackle. What a catch and what a throw by Kilmer. Jim Youngblood made the tackle. First down, Redskins.
This is Harmon's 14th catch of the year. Now watch how much time Billy Kilmer gets. A 4-man rush that's doubled up by the center Hawes, and Billy really waited and threw a little bit of a soft job, didn't he? A beanbag, and Harmon comes out with it.
That is the only way he could have possibly gotten the ball to Harmon.
That one actually spiraled. That was a pretty good throw by Billy.
He lobbed it over the top. First and 10, Redskins. Line of scrimmage down to 43. The first down on that 22-yard pickup from Kilmer to Harmon. Calvin Hill trying to struggle straight ahead. Jack Youngblood closed it down. Fred Dreyer also from the other side.
I guess we ought to keep in mind the only team that's knocked off the Rams since they lost to Chicago at Soldier Field that night were the New Orleans Saints, and they did it with those 2 big backs, and they rushed for, what, over 300 yards or something, didn't they?
Right. Chuck Knox was saying that day we just didn't tackle anybody.
Didn't close it down and didn't tackle. And that's all emotion, isn't it?
That defense is. Speaking of emotion, there is no tomorrow. One of George Allen's famous quotes.
I thought I saw that on a building here in Washington.
3-yard pickup on that first down by Calvin Hill. Kilmer being chased. Going to keep it. Out of bounds in front of the Redskin bench. Jack Reynolds knocked him out of bounds.
Pretty close to the first down. Woo! Hacksaw went right in where the bad guys are. Watch 64 dropping back now. Ran over the official getting there. And very legally waits and measures Kilmer and then knocks him out of bounds. It's close to the first, and he may have gotten it. Oh, and there the Redskins gathering around.
He will be very close to a first down. In fact, close enough to measure. Kilmer ran for a clutch first down last week against the Cardinals. He might have just gotten another one here.
He started in regular season twice against the Rams and beaten them both times, but those were a few years ago. This is a different Rams team.
It's like about a foot short where Reynolds knocked him out of bounds. Jack Youngblood over checking out, too.
Youngblood's gotten that weight up a little bit, Patrick. He was pretty low in the preseason. Now he's back to about 238, 240, and I think he's playing much better at it.
There was a lot of concern early in the year about what was wrong with Jack Youngblood, and I think that was really the answer. Bob Frederick and his group of officials making sure. Tonight, you'll find Kojak in a dual role of pursuer of the criminal and also the victim of the crime.
He must be a Gemini.
Why is that?
A split personality or something.
That's tonight on CBS. Don't forget about Kojak. 3rd and 1. Calvin Hill has the Redskin first down. Jack Reynolds, Dave Elmendorf, Pat Thomas also tackling. See what happened to Reynolds.
Reynolds playing the middle now, a little bit deep for a short yardage situation. Getting rid of Lynn Hawes. Good block by Harmon on Elmendorf. Makes the tackle, but Calvin used that 6'3" height, didn't he? And he hasn't been running the ball much. I wonder if he can do that for 4 quarters.
The Redskins hope so. 8:55 left to go in the first quarter. No scores yet. Line of scrimmage, the Ram 44. Here's Clarence Harmon and Calvin Hill moved before the ball was snapped. Isaiah Robertson finally made the tackle on Calvin after a good game, but I think they'll bring the whole thing back.
Pretty good job by Nugent to the right of your screen. 64 goes through. Good job by Lenny Hawes on Hacksaw Reynolds, the middle linebacker. And I'll tell you, Calvin Hill looks like he might be playing his last game. That's what we were told, but he's trying to do a heck of a job of it, isn't he?
There was no penalty. I thought they moved before the snap. I was wrong.
Calvin has 19 yards on 5 carries already.
He got about 9 on that last carry. This time he tries to spin and go back to the outside. And may have gotten enough for another first down.
Looked like the Youngbloods. Big Jack and Jim did the job that time. Notice Elmendorf getting up and Simpson. Those safety men come up on the line of scrimmage. It should be dangerous to do that, but they get away with it, don't they?
The veteran Winston Hill on the sideline for the Rams.
You ever seen a bigger looking squad than these darn Rams? And they're physical, aren't they?
Oh, they're very impressive. They're going to be tough no matter who their opponent is in the playoffs. Redskins first down.
Think Billy might throw it on first down?
I think he might.
This is great area for Frank Grant from about the 40-yard line in. I think he's one of the real good, sneaky, quick receivers, and he's great around the end zone. Inside that 40.
There's the man who's going to make the choice. Redskins let him do all the play calling. 1st and 10, Washington. At the Ram 34-yard line now. 7.5 minutes left to play first quarter. Still no score. The Redskins on the move. Here's Harmon to the outside. Breaks one tackle and breaks another one. A flag goes down. This time there will be some sort of a penalty. Jones made the tackle.
Youngblood might have thought he was in some way held by Stark, the right tackle. Or maybe it was an offside. Whatever it was, Calvin Hill got a heck of a block, and Harmon made yardage to the weak side of the formation. A good offensive play. Watch the left part of your screen now, and you'll see Calvin Hill go out and do a heck of a job right there. Harmon breaks the tackle here. Whether it holds up or not, it shows they can do it.
Number 74.
Holding is the call. And they move the ball back to the 44-yard line where it'll be 1st and 20 for Washington. And now on this first down, he might have to put it up.
His offensive line, it really has the work cut out for him, and a holding is a good example of that, isn't it?
1st and 20 for Kilmer. Grant goes in motion. Quick screen, Charlie Taylor tries to duck back inside. Jim Youngblood on the tackle, number 53. He was the first man there.
I'll tell you, Pat Thomas, the corner man, never even left the line of scrimmage. He came right up on Charlie Taylor and almost dared it to be anything. 27 can really play. He's only about 5'9½", and he can dunk a basketball with both hands, backwards. It's incredible.
Jump up over the goalpost almost.
Texas Aggie, too, and
pretty good athletes come out of that school.
They got to be good to go to school there, I guess.
They didn't ask us, did they?
No.
2nd and 20. Pryor jumps. Kilmer stays right in the pocket, and now he goes down under the rush of Jack Youngblood, 85, and Cody Jones, 76. Like Dreyer might have been offsides.
He comes so quick, sometimes it looks like Fred Dreyer's offsides. This time the guys got him. Watch the right center of your screen. See if... Ooh, he did come. Even in slow motion, he was quick.
So was Youngblood. Here's Bob Frederick.
Defense, number 89, offside. 2nd down.
Had dinner with Fred last night.
He must have had a head of lettuce. I've never seen so many vegetables on a plate in my life.
Looked like a produce truck. Some salad he had. Calvin Hill trying to get out to the outside. Will go nowhere with this one. Isaiah Robertson is the first guy who wrapped him up. Fred Dreyer helped.
Boy, those penalties on first down really hurt, don't they, when you've got a good running play? You're getting out of field goal range, too, even for Mosley.
Been an amazing stat about Mosley. There have been 7 field goals this year in the league, in the entire league, that is, of more than 50 yards, and Mosley has 4 of them.
That's right.
Billy Kilmer's daughter.
Teenage daughter, and your daddy is out there and giving it a go, I'll tell you that.
He's looking on in Los Angeles. He said, tell you hello.
He's a remarkable guy, too, isn't he?
Yes, he is. There he is. On 3rd and 21. Ball at the 45, and Kilmer drops. Going deep for Puget. Picked off at about the 1-yard line. And up we go. Jackie Wallace made the interception, number 20. Wallace comes out to about the 25-yard line. The Rams have it. Charlie Taylor made the tackle.
Wallace is the extra man in the backfield, and Kilmer got a lot of time to throw this one. It looked like Puget was open, didn't it?
He was for
Watch
a while.
what happens now. Play the ball extremely well.
Elmendorf back there with him.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
Tonight on CBS at 9 p.m., 8 Central and Mountain Time, Marcus tries to win the heart of a lady by pretending he's one of the Jeffersons.
You can't do that.
Might get you a little bit ahead, though.
We'll find out tonight at 9.
1st and 10. Los Angeles Rams have the ball at their own 24. Hayden still the quarterback. 5.5 minutes left to play first quarter. Cappelletti cutting back to the inside. Kenny Houston is number 27, the first guy who hit him.
McCutcheon has 1,213 yards coming in. That's gone to about 1,240 something by now. But Cappelletti comes in with 565. And, you know, you're talking about 1,700 and something yards between two backs. And they block for one another.
Cappelletti really does a heck of a job blocking.
And he's getting thicker all the time. You know, he's a big, strong guy back there. It's like having a guard pulling for you.
That's the book on Pat Hayden. Cappelletti got about 5 on that first down, so we'll make it 2nd and 5. Hayden intended for McCutcheon. He threw it away. The coverage was good. Dusek right with him.
Pretty good pressure by McDowell, too.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. Joe Willie.
And boy, has he helped Pat Hayden. Joe went to the bench after the Chicago game and has done nothing but help. It's nice to have a guy like him around, I'll tell you.
He says he has adjusted to his role of advisor. 3rd and 5 situation now for the guy who's playing. And, of course, Pat Hayden. Nothing doing, and again, Brad Dusek. And there goes the flag. Eddie Brown and Dusek were close.
Ball was deflected, I believe, by Dyron Talbot. And Hayden never looked to the left side of the formation where Cappelletti is open at about 12 yards, hooked into the left. He looks that way. Let's see who gets the hand up. It's either Dyron or McDowell. It's Dyron Talbot.
Dyron got the hand up.
Pass because the defense touched the ball.
The defense touched the ball. You saw Dyron Talbot. No penalty call. The defense comes off. Eddie Brown goes deep for Washington. And number 19 is Glenn Walker for the Rams.
Let's see if Glenn has a little tempo problem. They might try to put some heat on him this time.
They can do it. But he gets off a fine punt in the direction of Eddie Brown, who fields it at the 31. Skips around to the outside. Eddie Brown outside the 40, still on his feet and fighting. Rod Phillips made the tackle. A 40-yard kick by Ram punter Glenn Walker.
Boy, you just got to have guys like number 25 on your team, don't you? He just became the all-time punt returner. There is a flag down. It might be illegal man downfield. It was a pretty good run back, though, by the Skins. They may take it, huh?
Eddie Brown has made a lot of big plays. Kilmer discussing like they'll decline it.
Does he have 55 punt returns now?
That's right.
That's a whole career.
Number 43 on the kicking team in Ellsbury downfield.
The NFL record was 54.
First down.
Punt returns, that is, by Rollin Lawrence of Atlanta. And now that record belongs to Eddie Brown. So with 4 minutes, 28 seconds left to play in the first quarter, no scores yet between the Rams and the Redskins.
Touch, the first computer TV. Magnavox touch-tune color television. Touch and lock in computer sharp color, computer fast. Touch, no need to fine-tune ever. Computer controlled color. Touch, even by remote. Star System touch-tune color television from Magnavox. Now a special Magnavox Touch for the holidays. Special savings on touch-tune color television by Magnavox.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find our name is known. You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. When things are getting thick and you want to start real quick, you can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. They've got the stuff when the starting's tough. You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. Delco Freedom. Thanks, Delco.
It's group encounters of the funniest kind when Sisnick attempts to restore harmony to the community center.
This community center is full of crazy people.
Wednesday night, right after Good Times.
That's what we just told you a minute ago, that Eddie Brown has just broken the NFL record for punt returns.
It also shows how good that defense plays and forces people to bang it all the time and let him run it back, doesn't it?
There's Eddie. A horse trainer in the offseason.
No kidding. I bet he whips him to a real lather.
He runs with him. First down, Kilmer is going to throw. Firing deep for Fugit. It bounced off the hands of a Ram. This is legal. This is Frank Grant. And Frank Grant gets a Redskin touchdown.
Sure, it's legal. It came off the defender, not an offensive player. And he hadn't caught a ball in 2 weeks.
It's a 59-yard touchdown pass from Kilmer to Grant.
All right, Billy trying to throw deep and underthrows it. The receivers, you can see that, well, he didn't underthrow it. He was trying for Fugit. And it's Grant that came out with it, and Fugit did not get his hand in there.
It was Monty Jackson that deflected it.
Darn, that ball does funny things.
And the Redskins get a rebound for a touchdown. Frank Grant. The Redskins sideline. We'll go over the playoff possibilities in a second or two.
It's only the 10th passing touchdown against the Rams all season.
And it was weird. Weird. Mark Mosley makes it 7-0 Washington. With 4 minutes and 18 seconds left to play. A flag is down on this one, so hold it.
In the record books, that's going to look like a tape measure 2-run double to left center, right?
Point's good. Carry over.
Point is good. So with 4 minutes and 18 seconds left to play in the first quarter at RFK Stadium in Washington, the Redskins lead the Rams 7-0.
Ford introduces Futura, a dramatic combination of styling and technology for 1978 and beyond. Futura, designed by computer modeling and aerodynamic testing. It can provide excellent fuel economy and room for 5 passengers as well. Futura, designed for 1978 and beyond. Realistically priced for today. See your Ford dealer for a personal test drive.
I'm going to do something only a Bob Lilly would do. And I'm going to use the new Black & Decker Best Line router. It's the best home use router we've ever made. It's going to trim the ends and make a nifty edge and dovetail this drawer. It's even going to write. There. Here, Coach. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker. The new Black & Decker Best Line of power tools. There's
There's another one of those dynamic quotes by George Allen.
He feels that way about the first inter-squad scrimmage at Carlisle.
I still think the best one is when he had a wall brought to the practice field and had all the players stand up against it to remind them that their backs were to the wall. Mosley hangs one high in the direction of Wendell Tyler. Down he goes. The first guy to hit him was Dallas Hickman. Knocked him off balance, and then the rest of the Redskins got there.
And Hickman is about 6'6 and a half, and I don't know how he got a long body into that kind of a position. A heck of a play.
How about that one?
Line drive.
One play, 59 yards. The pass from Kilmer to Grant, and that's all the points.
Scorecard don't have pictures. Somebody said that about golf, too, one time.
Did George Allen say that?
Probably.
First down for Los Angeles. The Redskins shift their defense. Talbot goes in front of the offensive center. The pitch is back to Capoletti. They shifted in the right direction that time. Ron McDowell made the tackle.
How did he make the tackle? I guess Chuck Knox would like to know, too. McDowell was turned on the inside, and they had a pretty good block on the outside there by the Rams. Watch this. Now watch the left part of your screen. Butts storms through. McDowell's already handled, isn't he? No, he's not. And he's pretty close to the line of scrimmage when he makes that pursuit, doesn't he?
I think McDowell is older than Chuck Knox. 4-yard pickup by Capoletti, make it 2nd and 6. 3.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Redskins 7, Rams nothing. Straight ahead, McCutcheon, again a flag down on the play.
Right side of the line of scrimmage.
First guy to make contact, first Redskin to make contact was Chris Hanberger.
Well, they play tough there.
Ooh. Offensive guard Tom Mack. Chuck Knox said he wasn't holding anybody back today, in spite of the fact that the Rams have a playoff spot locked up.
Defense, number 79, offside.
79 is Mike Fanning for the Rams, 79 for the Redskins.
Golf, too, one time.
Did George Allen say that?
Probably.
First down for Los Angeles. The Redskins shift their defense. Talbot goes in front of the offensive center. The pitch is back to Capoletti. They shifted in the right direction that time. Ron McDowell made the tackle.
How did he make the tackle? I guess Chuck Knox would like to know, too. McDowell was turned on the inside, and they had a pretty good block on the outside there by the Rams. Watch this. Now watch the left part of your screen. Butts storms through. McDowell's already handled, isn't he? No, he's not. And he's pretty close to the line of scrimmage when he makes that pursuit, doesn't he?
I think McDowell is older than Chuck Knox. 4-yard pickup by Capoletti, make it 2nd and 6. 3.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Redskins 7, Rams nothing. Straight ahead, McCutcheon, again a flag down on the play.
Right side of the line of scrimmage.
First guy to make contact, first Redskin to make contact was Chris Hanberger.
Well, they play tough there.
Ooh. Offensive guard Tom Mack. Chuck Knox said he wasn't holding anybody back today, in spite of the fact that the Rams have a playoff spot locked up.
Defense, number 79, offside.
79 is Mike Fanning for the Rams, 79 for the Redskins. Offside with Ron McDowell. 2nd and 1.
Pretty good spot to do anything young Hayden wants to do here.
McCutcheon. With his second effort, he squirmed far enough for a first down. Ron McDowell again made the tackle.
Butts hit him in the backfield about 3 yards deep, and he shrugged off that 270 pounds like it was nothing and went right ahead. Watch the left part of your screen now. Pretty good contact early. Oh, that was Talbot. Now watch this. Slides right on by. Oh, he's been doing that, huh?
The heck of a move Talbot made, rolling out of that block by Matt. Here's Hayden. Redskins had a blitz going. Harold Jackson sees it sail over his fingertips. Covered by the Bird, Joe Lavender.
And I mean covered by the Bird. Harold's only 5'9" and can really run. He and Lavender used to know each other pretty well with the Eagles. Now watch this throw. Good blocking, by the way. Ball's there, and the bird just comes over the top.
Hayden is 0 for 3.
Well, that's the way to play the secondary, Patrick.
John Williams might have been shaken just a bit on that last play. And the Rams have taken a timeout so they can look at him. The Sports Spectacular, don't forget, later this afternoon, the WBC World Welterweight Championship between Carlos Palomino and Jose Palacios. That's right after the game, the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Be a good fight, too, I'll tell you.
The National Hot Rod Association World Championship also. The United States Professional Arm Wrestling Championship.
That hurts me to think about it.
And the final event in the world's strongest men competition.
Where's my truss?
Second and 10 for the Los Angeles Rams with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in the first quarter. That's McCutcheon. Redskins lead at 7-0. Carl Lorch and Dave Butts made the tackle.
Looked like the Rams tried to finesse Dyron Talbot that time.
Kermit Washington, of course, was suspended by the commissioner of the NBA, Larry O'Brien, for that incident with Rudy Tomjanovich. That'll also be on the Sports Spectacular. It is 3rd down, 7 now for Los Angeles. Hayden has the ball again, deflected, has it picked off by Tim Scott. Redskins get another deflection.
This time it was Dave Butts. He goes 6'5 and a half. And Hayden is really concentrating on the receivers, but he's not really moving in the pocket at all. And I mean, he's got some time, except penetration by Butts. Watch this. Bam. And Jake Scott comes up with it. Who says those defensive backs don't live right?
2 balls have been deflected. The Redskins have come up with both of them. Chuck Knox not too happy about the way things are developing right now. Redskins have it at the Ram 33. They're in range for Mosley already.
For Kilmer, too.
Kilmer has Calvin Hill and Clarence Harmon behind him, and on first down, he's going for the bundle. Outside of Calvin Hill. Incomplete.
Did Calvin try to do it? Didn't he act like he did catch that? Billy unloaded around Youngblood.
Kilmer 3 out of 6 now for 81 yards and that touchdown to Frank Graham.
What Calvin had to worry about was that had been ruled a lateral. He could lose possession. There's Elijah Pitts. It's a good staff working for Chuck Knox, and they really like football, you know it.
They've done a heck of a job. Western champion Los Angeles Rams on defense against Washington, trying to stay alive and get into the playoffs. Calvin Hill bangs straight ahead and gets some good yardage this time. Just a very simple straight-ahead handoff. Isaiah Robertson made the tackle.
Stokes, Ron Saul, and Lenny Hawes just blew him straight off the line of scrimmage on that side. And that's running at Larry Brooks and Freddie Dreyer. The right side of your screen, folks. Nugent right through on Jim Reynolds and did a good job of turning the side. And Calvin's hitting that hole with aggressiveness today.
Good job of running by Hill. Joe Namath and Pat Hayden talking to Chuck Knox.
I don't want to block you.
It'll be third down Redskins and 4 to go. Kilmer throws to Calvin Hill. He's got it. He does not have a first down, however. Jim Youngblood and Isaiah Robertson on the tackle.
Calvin Hill caught 6 passes last week. This time they sent all the receivers to the right side of the formation, quick outs, and then just curl him right over the middle. It puts the linebacker in a real jam.
Redskins want this measured, and now they're not going to measure it. Bob Frederick says he did get a first down. Let's watch it again.
The blitz was on. The middle linebacker's gone. Youngblood almost got there, number 85. Calvin can really catch it, no doubt about that.
Calvin caught it just far enough down the field to get a first down for Washington. 55 seconds left to play first quarter. The Redskins first down on the Ram 22. Kilmer for Hill. Got it. Inside the 5 is Calvin Hill. Dave Elmendorf chased him out of bounds. 19-yard pickup.
I don't know if Billy Kilmer has ever thrown a stronger pass than this. Watch it. He straightens up, and I mean he whistles it. It's soft enough, and Calvin has the good hands. That's Calvin's 16th catch of the year.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Redskins at the 3. Make it the 2-yard line.
Boy, he does it in big games, though. Last year it was against Dallas when he had an incredible contest, remember?
Right.
And this might be Calvin Hill's last game.
Redskins 1st and goal. Harmon and Hill behind Kilmer. Kilmer throws. Touchdown to Fugit.
Are these people crazy about this team today? We've heard some boos here early in the year, but not now. That's Fugit's 5th touchdown catch of the year and just about the largest one. He showed the ball to the linebacker, and that's a no-no.
Mark Mosley with Joe Theismann to hold. Here's Mosley, number 3. Over everything. Mosley kicks it into the stands, and it's 14-0 in favor of Washington. There's a flag down on the extra point.
The Rams have allowed only 2 touchdowns in one period, only one other time this year, and that was against New Orleans, the loss.
Defense, offside.
The defense is offside.
Carry over to the kickoff.
They'll keep that extra point. 38 seconds left to play in the first quarter. The Redskins lead it 14-0. How about these Redskins?
Are you surprised?
Yes, I am.
I'm not when they're back to the wall.
The bowl lineup on CBS on Christmas Day starts it. The Fiesta Bowl. Penn State against Arizona State. That ought to be a heck of a match.
Penn State's heading down there on Monday.
And we'll be heading to El Paso.
Not that early, though, right?
No. Stanford with their 8-3 record against LSU 8-3. And how about this match?
I'm not going to miss that one. I may be in the stands, but I'm going to see Texas play Notre Dame.
10-1, the Irish against the number 1 team in the country, the Longhorns. Mark Mosley will kick off for the Redskins. That's Wendell Tyler, number 26.
Tyler's longest run back has been 37 yards, but he is an excellent runner out of UCLA and dangerous. Let's see what they do with it.
If Mosley hits it right, he'll go higher in the stadium. He hit it right. Stays up there forever. Tyler starts from the 7. And he's got a little room to the outside, and Wendell Tyler goes out of bounds. Knocked out by Larry Jones, number 21. That scoring drive, after the pass interception by Jake Scott, 5 plays, 33 yards. They kept the ball a minute and 29 seconds. We have 28 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Redskins 14, Rams nothing.
How conservative will Pat Hayden be now? Will he open it up all the way and air it out, or is he going to be a little bit close?
Back to Capoletti, who does get outside. There's some running room this time. Caught from behind by Carl Lortz, number 71.
You want to see what an all-pro running back is? Watch number 30, Lawrence McCutcheon. Now watch this. This is one of the great blocks. Watch the center of your screen. Gives himself up and turns Hamburger inside. And Cappy Loose at this stage is a darn strong runner.
8 yards by Capoletti. That's the last play of the first quarter. So after one period of action, Washington Redskins with 2 touchdown passes by Billy Kilmer lead 14-0.
Energy for a stronger America.
This huge structure, 600 feet of concrete and steel, is the tallest object ever towed to sea. It's an offshore oil platform designed to withstand some of the world's stormiest waters, the kind we battle in the North Sea. When Exxon tackles a project like this, we get more out of it than just barrels of oil. We acquire new technical capabilities and experience that will help us provide energy for a strong America.
Radio Shack has a great space-age gift for kids at a down-to-earth price. The original Space Patrol walkie-talkie. Just $14.95 a pair, and they really work. Crystal controlled and battery operated, just like Dad's portable CV. And they're built in Radio Shack's own electronics factory. So this Christmas, thrill your kids with the $14.95 a pair Space Patrol. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy Company.
Are you still chained to Gotcha? The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from Gotcha.
The Rams had 0 yards passing, and the Redskins had 100 passing in the first quarter.
2nd and 2 situation for Pat Hayden and the Rams. Redskins again shift their defense. They thought they were going that way, and they were right. McCutcheon is stacked up. See what happened to Big Dyron.
Well, he's playing across from the all-pro guard, Tommy Mack. As soon as Mack came back from sort of a holdout negotiation period, the Rams began to get it moving. Look at that standoff. And you're right. The Redskins slipped over into the slot just as the snap was taking place.
Like they knew something. They lead 14-0 over the Rams. Third down play. He's close. Mike Curtis was the first guy to make the hit.
Boy, Darren Talbot really got penetration. He knifed through and almost got Hayden on the handoff. Watch this now. You can see Curtis ganging, followed by Hamburger. Talbot came all the way through with Mack on his back, and they covered right behind him. Darn, those old men play tough in that line of scrimmage.
That front 4 has a lot of experience. There's Jack Youngblood. Been an all-pro for every year.
You know, Billy Brundage isn't even suited up today. Got the knee last week, and the Redskins are playing with only 4 defensive linemen. And they did it.
Guys held them. 4th and inches. Ram punter Glenn Walker will come in. Here he is.
Remember the last time? The snap was a little high.
Almost went over his head the last time. Bob Pipperini had been doing the snapping, and that's who's in there now. It's a little low. Eddie Brown on the move at the 38. Ooh. Handled it and did a remarkable job of hanging on. That was only a 28-yard kick.
I think Jodat's the one that really hit him with the tackle. That can get you hurt, Eddie Brown.
He's taken a lot of hard shots throughout this year. Playing with a pulled hamstring right now. 14-0 score.
What does your money do in a full-service bank? Well, for one thing, it creates new jobs. 16 years ago, Premix was started in a small warehouse with money George Call borrowed from his bank.
Ed, our bank's helped all the way from new accounts to our first bookkeeper.
Today, this company is international with 1,000 employees. Creating new jobs by creating business. No financial institution can help you and your community more than a full-service bank.
With the price of most things going up, the sticker price of Pinto, the best-selling American small car, is coming down. New 78 model Pintos with more standard features will have a lower sticker price than last year's model comparably equipped. Important features are now standard, like AM radio, power front disc brakes, rear window defroster, tinted glass, and protective body side moldings. Ford Pinto, the best-selling American small car. Now more car for the money than last year. At Ford, the better ideas keep coming.
The NBA on CBS on Christmas Day, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Buffalo Braves against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Expect another big year and a good year of basketball on CBS.
Some of the greatest athletes in the world have played in that league, I'll tell you that.
1st and 10. Redskins lead 14-0, and Kilmer is going to try for some more. Grant, complete. First down. Pat Thomas.
Now remember, the Rams are so good in the secondary that they'll take some solo coverage, and Grant goes down and forces Pat Thomas off of him, turns out, and Billy throws it early. It isn't always a picture, but it always is thrown early and gets there.
It was good for 14 yards that time. Kilmer to Grant.
Kilmer is 7 for 10 for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns.
First down at the 43, and here's Clarence Harmon trying to get around to the outside, and down he goes. Isaiah Robertson on the tackle for a loss of a couple.
Oh, did Isaiah play that one? Okay, what is this?
This time of the year, you don't win games with talent, you win with character. That's fairly new.
And talented character helps a lot, too.
He said that after last week's victory over St. Louis. And that was a win that showed they had a lot of character.
Don't count the Rams out. They may get the cobwebs out at halftime and come storming back. They are a heck of a football team.
2nd and 12. As Harmon lost 2 on that carry. And Kilmer will retreat. Oh, he gives to Harmon. Might have gotten the 2 back, but they lost the play before.
Ron Saul's doing a pretty good job on Larry Brooks, I'll tell you. Brooks might be as tough a guy to block as there is. Now, you're looking a little beyond that at Youngblood going to start. The Redskin came off the ball in good shape and backed the big defensive end right off the line of scrimmage.
1 yard gain will make it 3rd and 11. That's Kilmer getting ready for the snap from Lenny Hawes. And down he goes under the berry of Fred Dreyer, Jack Youngblood, and Larry Brooks.
It was also blitz time. Here comes number 85 working. Now, we saw him have a little trouble on that last running play. Look how he forces the pocket. And then Dreyer gets you from the blind side, and down goes Billy.
And Mike Bragg is deep for Washington to punt. That's number 4. Cullen Bryant, the biggest punt returner anywhere. Back for the Rams. They try to block it. Don't get it. Cullen lets it bounce, and it's going to roll dead inside the 10 at the 5-yard line, where the Redskins jump on it. A 47-yard kick by Mike Bragg that rolls dead at the 5.
The 26th time that these Redskins have had the ball drop down inside the 20, and Bragg is using that foot, isn't he?
Ted Frisch is the guy who downed it. He's the guy who snapped it to Bragg. 14-0 in the 2nd quarter.
Excuse me, sir. We'd like to take away your Schlitz and have you try our beer.
Shut up. Shut up. Down, baby. I'll handle this. You want to take away my Schlitz? You want to take away my gusto? You're the first person that ever made me laugh. You want to take away my Schlitz? My gusto? Say hello to your lunch. Take away my gusto.
If you don't have Schlitz, you don't have gusto, and probably you don't have beer.
Schlitz.
Hey, great looking treads, Kathy.
Goodrich radial TA, Smoothie.
What are you doing?
Checking the air pressure. My Goodrich dealer says it's a good idea.
What for?
Well, if you don't have the right air pressure, the tires won't last as long. Goodrich makes a great tire.
Hey, come to the game, Kathy. I could get you a ride on the Goodrich blimp.
Goodrich doesn't have a blimp, Moosey.
Does that mean you won't come to the game?
Tires you can trust. B.F. Goodrich. The other guys.
If you are Emily Hughes, then I'm your daughter.
Damn you for doing this to us.
Arthur Hill and Barbara Barry in Tell Me My Name, Tuesday at 9:30, 8:30 Central and Mountain Time.
1st and 10, Los Angeles at their own 5.
That's the line of scrimmage you're looking at, folks. And that is a jungle down there, I'll tell you.
Hayden out of his own end zone. Intended for Billy Waddy. And the coverage by Bird Lavender is good again.
Oh, man, he ran right into the receiver and kept looking for the ball and got away with it. The ball hit Bird, I think, right on the beak. Watch this pass. It's a good one. Not bad protection, but Butts gets a little penetration up the middle. The ball is airmail. Now watch what Lavender does. He moves back into the receiver, Waddy, and takes it on the shoulder pad. Excellent coverage.
Hayden is now 0 for 5. The Rams have made on just 1 first down.
Waddy's a 4.340 man. He might be faster than Harold Jackson, if that's possible.
That's frightening. Jackson's had a great year. 2nd and 10. The Rams and Hayden. Sprint out left. Throws back across the middle. Knocked down by Brad Dusick. Terry Nelson picked it up, but it's incomplete.
Look at Brad Dusick. He's had the big interception last week. Watch the move now. It's a sprint out left. And notice how the Rams get over in front. Capoletti and company moving around to give him some running and perhaps room to run in. I'll tell you, that ball was almost grabbed off.
And so it's 3rd and 10. If the Redskins lose, they don't make the playoffs. It'll be the Bears and the Vikings. One is the NFC Central Division champion. The other is the wild card team. If the Redskins win, that's a long story. Hayden fires deep for Waddy. Knocked down. Gerard Williams, the other cornerback with the excellent coverage.
And Lorch had Pat Hayden down in the end zone. Watch this now. Watch the left part of your screen. Talbot and Butts are trying to run a stunt. That's picked up. But watch 71 from the right come through and take Hayden right out from underneath it. Gerard Williams has really arrived.
Good coverage again. Nelson backed up in his own end zone, right at the back end. Glenn Walker to punt. Off the side of his foot. Eddie Brown comes out, watches it bounce, gets away from it.
He wanted it, didn't he?
He sure did. He made a wise choice, so the Rams covered it well. It turned out to be a pretty good punt. 44 yards. Cullen Bryant. That's the situation. Minnesota 8-5, Chicago 8-5, Washington 8-5. If the Redskins win, the Bears win tomorrow against the Giants, and the Vikings win, the Redskins don't go to the playoffs. What are you laughing at?
That's the toughest thing to try to explain in history.
The Redskins win, the Bears win, the Vikings lose. The Redskins and Bears go to the playoffs. Calvin Hill trying to get away and does struggle, perhaps maybe a yard past the line of scrimmage. Bill Simpson and Jack Reynolds made the tackle.
You know, we hear a lot about field position, but the Rams have started the 49 where they got the ball the first time. Remember? Then it was the 24. Then the Rams started from the 18. Then the 24, and the last time from the 5. And you just can't go 95 yards many times during the season.
Somebody came up with a study about how many drives of over 90 yards there have been. Something like 12. 17. Throws to Calvin Hill, number 35. Kilmer got it to Calvin Hill for about 4 or 5. Jim Youngblood and Cody Jones tackled Calvin.
I tell you, Kilmer has given him a little bit of everything. Now remember that it just could be that the Rams and the Redskins would play.
If the Redskins make the playoffs, it'll be a rematch next week in Los Angeles.
But I guess you're going to pull every play you've got that would probably help you on this particular day, right?
3rd down 6 situation for Billy Kilmer. His Redskins lead already 14-0. Rams are blitzing successfully. That's the 3rd sack. It was Isaiah Robertson that the Redskins did not pick up.
That's the 4th sack by Isaiah. And I'll tell you, when they blitz, and Malavasi, the defensive coordinator, he calls the frequency on the blitz. And this couldn't have come at a better time or from a worse angle as far as number 17 is concerned.
He had no chance. Cullen Bryant deep for the Rams. Mike Bragg will punt for the Redskins. 9.5 minutes left to play in the second quarter. Redskins 14, Rams nothing. Good snap. Good high kick. At the 20, at the 19, make it Cullen Bryant. Had no place to go. Wendland Hall was the first guy down underneath. 39-yard kick by Mike Bragg.
There's Butch. Outspoken and outstanding.
So 9:15 left before the half. Washington 14, Los Angeles nothing.
Huddlemeyer, Mr. Huddlemeyer, Mr. Huddlemeyer, Mr. Huddlemeyer, Mr. Huddlemeyer, excuse me, but I understand you've reserved an Avis car in Buffalo. Well, not only is your car going to be there, but even now Avis is checking the engine, tires, even the ashtrays. Nobody beats our car care program. So relax. Avis wants you to enjoy your trip in the air and on the ground.
Oh, good.
We try hard, Avis, we don't know another way.
Have a nice trip.
Oh.
He is a major in the Soviet KGB. She's a secret agent with more than one secret. Together, they must stop Telefon. Code name for the most explosive motion picture of the year. It will take them on a desperate chase across 2 continents, pit them against their own governments, lead them into incredible danger. Charles Bronson, Lee Remick in Telefon, rated PG, coming this holiday season to theaters nationwide.
Following the game, you'll see highlights of the WBC World Welterweight Championship battle between Palomino and Palacios on the CBS Sports Spectacular. The 1977 National Hot Rodders Association World Championship.
Go get 'em.
The Professional Arm Wrestling Championship. Go get 'em. And the World's Strongest Men competition will go get 'em.
A lot of grunting and groaning.
For the last time. That's the final event. First down for Los Angeles. John Cappelletti gets to the outside. He had some good blocking, but Lavender makes a good play on the opposite side. Number 20.
They don't keep stats on blocks. I know the offensive Rams do, but I'll tell you something. Number 30 did it again. McCutcheon got Cappelletti out there.
Also on the Sports Spectacular, I understand that Commissioner Larry O'Brien will be in the studio on the Sports Spectacular to discuss his suspension of Kermit Washington. All that immediately following the game here on CBS. Second and 3, I'm sorry.
This Ram offense got 386 yards against Atlanta last week.
Puts back to Cappelletti. Nothing doing. Flag went down. Gerard Williams came up and turned it in. Harold McClinton made the tackle. Brad Dusek is upset about something.
They're going to call.
Got blinked.
I think either that or they're going to call Harold Jackson for a crackback. Remember now, you can't hit below the waist, and Harold Jackson's only 5'9". He's trying to get down there. I'll be darned. That looked like a pretty good block.
I thought he did a...
I'll bet you they tell him that's a good block.
Did a pretty good job of using his judgment to keep from hitting in the back, keep from clipping.
It looked like Williams might have turned on him a little bit and sort of forced the action.
They walk it off against Los Angeles.
Number 29, the offense clipping.
Rams have 1 first down in the second period.
Got a tough order this time, too. 2nd and 17. Pat Hayden. Protection's good. Hayden for Jackson. Williams with him. Good coverage again by Gerard Williams, number 45.
Oh, man. Harold Jackson thought there was going to be a flag, and I'm not so sure this time Gerard Williams didn't break in the bank. Let's watch it. This is a great throw, and I'll tell you, Hayden has really improved the velocity of his passes. This ball is thrown beautifully. I thought Gerard made a little contact before the ball got down.
Hayden, the number 1 passer in the NFC, has not completed one today. Harold Jackson with the long jaunt back to the huddle complete now. Rams 1 first down and no complete passes yet. 3rd and 17. Hayden throws for Cappelletti, incomplete. Brad Dusek on the coverage, and Hayden really took a shot from somebody.
Dave Butts and Darren Talbot took Hayden down again, and the young man from West Covina, California, is down. The league's leading passer without a completion. I don't know how he got the ball off. He really stayed in there and pulled the trigger. Watch to the right of your screen now, and you're going to see 2 windmills coming in.
There's Butts.
Butts to the left, and watch Talbot.
The shot from Talbot that hurt him.
The ball was just released. It looked legal enough. It just looked lethal.
Hayden is being assisted to the far side of the field. It'll be 4th and 17, and Glenn Walker in for the Rams. There's the guy who'd have to take his place, of course.
He didn't take the jacket off yet.
Didn't warm the arm yet.
Wonder if he has pads on under there.
Got something in his mouth.
Big red.
Vince Ferragamo is the guy who is warming up for Los Angeles. If Hayden doesn't come back, it won't be Namath. It'll be the Nebraska rookie. Oh, good kick by Glenn Walker. Eddie Brown signals fair catch. Cullen Bryant was down looking at him. Wisely, he put up the right hand. A 47-yard kick by Walker. Eddie Brown heading over for the sideline. Every week, Eddie Brown does so well that he gets some kind of an award. The Redskins have a little ceremony. That's coming up at halftime. The NFL today, the scores and highlights with our friend Miss George. Herb Cross.
My old cornerback buddy.
And Brent Musburger. Goes through. The handoff is to Harmon. And Harmon comes close to a first down on a fine effort. Simpson made the tackle. The flag is down.
I think the Redskins will get the benefit of the doubt this time. I believe Reynolds came across the left linebacker about half a count early, and part of the line came with him. Watch the left center of your screen. Youngblood started.
Defense number 53. Offsides refused.
They refused the penalty because of a good effort by Harmon.
192 pounds playing fullback in this league. He does a pretty good job. And he's young.
He's from Mississippi State. Played in the WFL. Was the outstanding runner really for the Redskins in the preseason. Pressed into service when John Riggins went down. And he's done a good job. Billy lays it outside. Knocked down by Jim Youngblood, intended for Fugit.
Good coverage. Excellent coverage. And there's the guy that started for Dallas in Super Bowl 10. Number 84 I'm talking about.
Interesting what you were telling me about Fugit working out with the wide receivers.
That's right. He's got a good enough speed, and the coach, Pete Calley, put him over there and let him run individual patterns, and he is that good a receiver with that kind of speed. Is that incredible?
Really is. 3rd and 1 situation for the Redskins. Just over 8 minutes left to play before the half. They lead 14-0. Calvin Hill. First down, Washington. Isaiah Robertson on the bottom of the pile, but big, tall Calvin got it far enough.
25 yards on 10 carries. And he comes from Yale.
One first down for the Rams, 9 for the Redskins. And again, the Rams have not completed a pass. Nolan Cromwell is playing in the Rams secondary. The rookie from Kansas playing for Elmendorf. Cromwell's number is 21. An athlete he is. Behind Calvin this time. Cromwell is now out, and Elmendorf was back in.
Kilmer called a pretty good play, though. He sent the man in motion to the left and then went to the weak side with a sprint out, and he had Fugit. Now watch this. Sprint out to the right side, and Fugit is deep, and Calvin Hill is sort of semi in there. This ball was just thrown sort of on the wrong side of Calvin Hill, and he didn't quite make the adjustment.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 as Kilmer brings him out. A touchdown pass to Grant. A touchdown pass to Fugit. Handoff this time to Calvin Hill straight ahead. Larry Brooks made the tackle. Limping out for Washington now is Terry Hermeling. Dan Nugent, the other guard, and Ron Saul.
The brothers Saul, huh? The twin brothers?
Right.
This isn't the first time twins have ever played against one another, is it?
I don't believe so.
We'll have to check on that somewhere.
I don't think that's in the record book. Kilmer fires. Almost caught by Fugit. He is upset. Elmendorf on the coverage. Kilmer did a good job to get the ball away at all.
I think the Aggie got away with a little larceny this time. Watch Elmendorf now. You're right behind Billy Kilmer. He doesn't set up beautifully, does he? But there it is, on the way. No, the ball that touched Fugit's fingers. We didn't quite see it there. Good play by Elmendorf.
Right. Mike Bragg back for Washington with his back to you right now. Cullen Bryant at the 10 for the Rams. Bragg gets it off. Chases Bryant back to the 4-yard line where he fields it. And the Redskins special teams again. Wysocki and Joe Harris. And the future is really now.
Opponents only get a little over 4 yards of punt return. Now that means you got to have wild, crazy people, and somehow George Allen gets them together and uncages them on Sunday or Saturday.
He gets them excited, doesn't he?
I don't know how he does it. Maybe it's these quotes.
Maybe it's the way he claps his hands. First and 10. Georgia, of course, at one time the head coach in Los Angeles. We laugh, but he does a heck of a job. There's McCutcheon breaking a couple of tacklers and getting out before Chris Hamburger takes him down. McCutcheon got about 9, just actually very little short of a first down.
Looks more like the team that averages about 184 yards a shot, rushing the football every game. And don't count them out. There's a long second half coming up, folks.
Hayden, as you can see, back after being shaken up on the last offensive series for Los Angeles. That hit. Capoletti banging straight ahead, and that's the Rams' second first down. Jake Scott, the safety man, made the tackle.
John's whole family is in here, and I'm telling you, that looked like the Last Supper last night. Mom and Dad and everybody were there, and he just got to be one of the outstanding people that we can point to and say, you can be a good guy and still get it done first class. He is an incredible young man.
Rams' second first down. The line of scrimmage now, Redskin 26. Hayden, first pass completion. This is Capoletti. Has another Ram first down as he turns back inside and is finally stopped by Harold McClinton.
28th catch by Capoletti. You might recall he made a super one against Atlanta on the run. This is the safety valve. And again, now you got 216 pounds. That usually hits somebody real hard. Boy, that time he took a shot by Dusek.
Ball now to Redskin 37. First down for the Los Angeles Rams. No score for them. 14 for Washington.
4.5 minutes left.
Before the half, that is. Hayden into the rush by Hamburger. Down he goes. Hayden sacked by Hamburger.
The Ram quarterbacks have only been down 24 times. Look at Hamburger coming.
Obviously a blitz.
And obviously at the right time. And nobody seemed to do it sneakier than number 55. Lucky that Hayden didn't lose the ball.
Creates a 2nd and 24 situation. Redskins playing inspired defense and inspired football for the last 2 weeks. Clutch defeat over St. Louis, or by St. Louis, the last week. Hayden is going to throw again. Fires to the outside. Waddy, I believe. The 80s, Billy Waddy.
Boy, I'll tell you, Greg Horton, who's in at right guard, Harrah's out for the year, and number 63 and company really did a job up front. Watch this now. Watch 63 go over and pick up the stunner, and that's Talbot, and keep him off the quarterback. Excellent pass reception. Looks like the Rams may be finding something, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Third down. That's incorrect, what you just saw. It's 14 yards they need for a first down. Hayden again to throw. Terry Nelson makes the catch. Houston, number 27, one of the tacklers, and I believe Dusek was the other one. Not a first down, not near.
Remember, Charlie Young came to this team, the All-Pro tight end, And Nelson going from right to left on your screen said, is that right? Well, I'm the tight end around here, and I'll show you. And, boy, has he played great for L.A. this year.
The other tackler was not Dusick. It was Eddie Brown, the extra defensive back, and Glenn Walker, who's had a busy first half. This will be punt number 5 for him. Eddie Brown deep. A high kick that he'll have to fair catch. Or try to. And he does. So the Redskins will take it over after a 31-yard punt by Walker. 14-0. Washington over the Rams. 2.5 minutes, or a little bit more than that, left before halftime. There's Tom Mack.
All he does is just play great.
Super player. First draft choice of the Rams 2 years back.
10 years ago?
From Michigan. How many years ago was he a draft choice? Kilmer gives to Harmon. And he didn't get much more than back to the line of scrimmage. Jack Reynolds made the tackle.
I sense a tightening up or an awakening by the Rams, and by halftime they'll go in maybe down still 14-zip, but they're playing a little bit different football both offensively and defensively right now. They're striking, and they are physical. You can ask the Oakland Raiders about that.
Clock running. They probably won't get this play off before they give the 2-minute notification to Chuck Knox and George Allen. And here comes Kilmer strolling over the sideline now.
That may take 2 minutes.
That's full speed. He wants to know what to do on 2nd and 8. He already leads 14-0.
Will the insurance fix our chimney?
Sure, after we plow through the paperwork.
It's different with Allstate.
What's different?
We have the world's largest team of claims specialists.
Don't worry about a thing.
They settle most claims like this without estimates.
No problem.
Allstate specialists are interested in you, not paperwork.
I'll call the contractor today.
Oh.
That was easy. When it takes being different to be better, Allstate will do it.
That's a promise from us, the Good Hands people.
Spidell, who's gone 4/5 of the way around your wrist for decades, now goes all the way.
I've given you Ming, Sable, cars, yachts, so tonight I'm going all the way. I'm giving you one of those elegant new Spidell digital watches.
You're spoiling me.
Mac, what did they give you to make you sign?
Mr. Kuzi, they went all the way. They gave me one of those classy new Spidell digital watches. You don't have to push a button to tell the time.
Spidell goes all the way with their new digital watches. Why don't you?
Kilmer has paid his visit to the sideline and discussed what the wishes of the coaching staff might be.
We just had a call on the truck, too, from Christian Adolph Jurgensen, who's across the river watching, probably sending in plays and trying to help someone.
Also known as Sonny. Good friend of that guy. Calvin Hill goes straight ahead for 2 or 3. Fred Dreyer came in to make the tackle.
I have a feeling we're going to see a different Rams team come out of that dressing room second half. They're not going to be embarrassed with the entire country watching them, and they don't want to lose the impetus if they have to play this team again next week, huh?
Chuck Knox told us before the game, I really don't know what the frame of mind is.
It's the old 2x4. You got to get their attention first, right?
There's Chuck. He said, I've been working them hard, and I've been talking a lot, but I'm not sure they were listening. Third down at the 36. Kilmer gives to Calvin Hill again, and he gets very little. Again, Fred Dreyer, one of the Ram tacklers. Crowd a little bit upset because the Rams are playing so, the Redskins are now playing so conservatively on offense, trying to run out the time before the half. Calvin Hill, a couple of blowout patches in his jersey.
That's probably a good percentage to play conservative, but it sure is turning on the Rams now.
NFL regional games tomorrow. That most important one on CBS between the Chicago Bears and the Giants. New Orleans against Atlanta.
And the Giants will play the Bears pretty well. Walter Payton better have his hat on.
St. Louis against Tampa Bay. Celebration still going on down there over the victory last week over New Orleans. San Francisco against Green Bay tomorrow on CBS.
McKay said they estimated the crowd at the Tampa airport at 8,000. He said it might have been 28,000. He's never seen such a turnout for any team.
That's when they got back from the victory over New Orleans. Mike Bragg. See if the Rams put the rush on. Well, trying to set up a return for Cullen Bryant. Mike Bragg hits a good one. Cullen Bryant trying to get around to the outside, but the special teams of the Redskins again. Wingland Hall after a 46-yard punt by Mike Bragg.
Boy, Jim Youngblood came down and really got a block on Murphy to at least give Bryant a little bit of breathing room. Do they cover those punts?
As well as anybody. A minute and 2 seconds left before the half. 14-0 Redskins. A line of scrimmage for Pat Hayden and the Ram offense is the 16.
You're going to open up the line of scrimmage a little bit and throw it? Big splits, maybe?
Rod Phillips has replaced Capoletti. He's in the backfield with McCutcheon. Hayden. Waddy. Eddie Brown in the game was an extra defensive back, and Gerard Williams also made the tackle on Billy Waddy. Clock still running. 13-yard pickup.
Super throw by Hayden. And he had the blitz pressure on him, too.
Hayden drops again. Terry Nelson made the catch. Houston made the tackle. Clock still running, and now the Rams will take a timeout. To stop that clock with 33 seconds left to play before the half. Redskins on 2 touchdown passes by Billy Kilmer lead this contest 14-0.
You got some people that can go up the sideline. Nobody can probably go faster than Harold Jackson.
Unless it's the guy on the other sideline, Billy Waddy.
If you put them together, you got something going, don't you?
Coming up at halftime, we got something going. The NFL Today. Scores and highlights, Phyllis, Irv, and Brent. I said Miss George before. Mrs. Evans.
Or just Phyllis. Chuck Knox has done nothing to win football games out there. In fact, he's the winningest Ram coach in history, which probably doesn't make George Allen too happy, but it's a fact.
George Allen said this is the best Ram team in 5 years.
Since he left, huh?
Right.
Always a disclaimer.
There's George. Every time you lose, it's like dying. Every time you win, it's like being reborn. I almost cried when I read that.
I must be in the deep 6 position. I was on some losing football teams, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we've both been dead a long time. That's the case. 2nd and 4. Rod Phillips and Cullen Bryant, the 2 Ram running backs. Nelson takes that strike. A shot from Hayden for Ram first down. Jake Scott made the tackle. Hayden has now hit 6 in a row after he missed his first 9.
He's got to get it stopped.
Fires in the direction of Waddy, but he did what Tom said he had to do. Got the clock stopped.
That's the one you always wonder if it would ever be intercepted, don't you?
Like that one out of bounds?
By somebody on the bench. This is a very spirited game. How about a Rhodes Scholar calling plays for you?
They send him in with hand signals for plays to him. He has the option always of changing at the line of scrimmage if he chooses. 11 seconds left to play before the half. The Rams have the football. They trail by 2 touchdowns. Hayden throws. Nelson wide open. And down he goes. That's all of the first half. Redskins head for their dressing room. The Rams for theirs. One will be happy. One will be quiet. Washington leads 14-0 over the Rams. A must game for them.
Put a little blue jean in everything we make.
First 100 years, all we grew here was Levi's blue jeans. Helped the West grow strong. But now we've added a whole new crop. New fabrics, new colors, new styles. Of course, the roots still go right down to these blue jeans, so folks know they're getting Levi's quality. Because here at Levi's, we put a little blue jean in everything we make.
Introducing a new 1978 Ford Granada, the ESS. Can you tell it from this impressive $20,000 Mercedes 280 SE? Granada. Mercedes. Granada. Mercedes. Granada. Mercedes. The new Ford Granada ESS. See how close you can come to the look of a $20,000 Mercedes at the price of a Granada. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
A sports arena, like any other sports arena, except it's in Milwaukee, beer capital of the world, where great beers have been brewed for over 130 years. What's your favorite beer, Milwaukee? Find out why. Take the Pabst Challenge. Taste and compare the quality and flavor of Blue Ribbon with what you're drinking, and learn what Milwaukee already knows. Pabst is the best tasting beer you can get. Pabst. Since 1844, the quality has always come through.
60 Minutes looks at the growing problem of juvenile offenders. Next, Beverly LaSalle pays a Christmas visit, much to Archie's surprise. And on Alice, it's a joyous Christmas trip until...
We're marooned. Who's going to wake up Mel and tell him? Mel.
60 Minutes, followed by All in the Family and Alice, starting Sunday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time.
Following the game, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of the WBC World Welterweight Championship with Carlos Palomino defending his title against Jose Palacios of Mexico. Highlights of the 1977 National Hot Rod Association World Championship with Shirley Muldowney, Don Garlitz, and more competing. The United States Professional Arm Wrestling Championship. The final event of the world's strongest men competition featuring the tug of war. And NBA Commissioner Larry O'Brien to discuss the Kermit Washington suspension. That's all coming up following the game.
14-0 at the half, and Phyllis said the Rams are playing like they want to go home. And Irv Cross incentive has got to be a big difference in this game.
That's really the key, Brett. You know, Phyllis, I don't know what's going through the Rams' minds right now, but I know the Redskins right now feel their lives are on the line. They're playing their hearts out, and as far as they're concerned, today is the day.
Phyllis, a couple of teams that are watching this game right now, well, the Minnesota Vikings, they play later today, and of course, tomorrow, it's the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants. It's the first time that the Bears and the Giants have met in a game that meant anything, well, since way back, remember when? A bitter, cold December afternoon. 14 years ago, Wrigley Field, the 1963 NFL championship game matching the Bears and the Giants. And at the time that afternoon, George Halas was a mere lad of 68. He prowled the sidelines across the field from the then New York Giant head coach, Allie Sherman. And do you remember who led Sherman's offense? Dashing, daring quarterback by the name of Yelverton Abraham Tittle. Who were his backs that day? Joe Morrison, Phil King, Hugh McElhaney. Remember who his receivers were? Del Schaffner, and who's that? Frank Gifford. He hasn't aged a day, has he, folks? Halas also had a young assistant coach by the name of George Allen, who obviously was up in the booth. And Allen built a defense that held the Giants to just 10 points and intercepted 5 tosses that December afternoon. Now, 2 of the interceptions set up Chicago's 2 touchdowns. This is Larry Morris, number 33. He's returning one 61 yards, and that led to the Bears' go-ahead touchdown. Who else was on that Bear defense that day? Bill George, Joe Fortunato, Doug Atkins, Ed O'Bradovich, Richie Pettibone. Believe me, they were monsters of the Midway that afternoon, and they hobbled Tittle and drove him to the sidelines before the end of the half. Glenn Griffey came in and replaced him, and in the second half, Tittle did return to that championship game, but he was a wounded general, ineffective, and he was unable to rally the Giants against the Bears. Meanwhile, Bear quarterback Billy Wade repeatedly ran the late Willie Gallimore, number 28. And along with Gallimore, he used number 29, Ronnie Bull. He passed that afternoon to Mike Ditka, Joe Marconi, Johnny Morris, and that set up the 2 Billy Wade plunges that gave Chicago a 14-10 victory. But that was 14 years ago, the last time Papa Bear coached the Bears to a league championship and the last time that the Bears and the Giants played each other with anything at all at stake in the NFL.
Papa Bear is one of the most wonderful men I've ever met. And how do you know so much about back in 1963? Were you there?
That afternoon, Phyllis, I was covering the game for the late lamented Chicago American newspaper, and I remember before the game that Bill George, Larry Morris, and Freddie Williams were kidding each other because Sport Magazine was going to give a Corvette out. And they said, well, if any of the three of us wins it, we'll divide it up 3 ways. Well, wouldn't you know it, Larry Morris won the car. Now, how do you divide a Corvette up 3 ways between those 3 guys?
It's really tough. It was cold that afternoon, too, wasn't it?
We've come a long way, and we've got some new stars in the NFL
That's
today.
right. One sitting right here. Brent, you've really worked hard, and I want to compliment you on all those years you put in as a journalist and everything you've done in sports.
Oh, thank you, Phyllis.
And Herb, you play a good game of football.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
Just a compliment. I feel in a good mood today because of this season and all. Speaking of season, this season a new meteor has flashed across the NFL horizon. While he was in college, he was the closest thing to a Superman that anyone had ever seen. Dallas traded a fistful of draft choices to get him, and since arriving, he's done practically everything while carrying the football except wear a red and blue cape with a big S on it. If yesterday's superstars are today's superheroes, then Barbra Streisand has found the perfect words to describe Tony Dorsett.
Fly like a bird when you touch me with your eyes, flying through the sky. I've never felt the same, but I am not a bird, and I am not a plane. I'm Superman.
Isn't that interesting? Remember 2 years ago when I interviewed him, and it was for the show, and that's when he said, no, Phyllis, it's not Tony Dorsett, it's Tony Dorsett, just because I like the sound of it.
What a year he has had. You know, Phyllis, I think that Tom Landry and the Cowboys have handled that situation so well. I know that earlier this year they said, why don't they put the Heisman Trophy winner in the starting lineup, and they waited until just the right psychological moment, and it's helped him, I think, a lot.
And isn't he terrific? I think we were talking during the piece. Dorsett has really come a long way this year.
He certainly
really has.
The NFL Today will continue on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
Bob and Emily are married to different people, at least in the fantasies that sweep them away tonight on CBS.
Hey, good buddies, this here's Big Ben telling you all about Hess Toy Trucks.
What a mighty toy.
Come on, get a Hess truck for your little girl or boy. Lights that shine on in the night.
What a mighty toy.
They got lights that really shine and a hose that really moves, all fully assembled for $249, including an ever-ready battery for the lights. They're at sparkling, clean Hess gasoline stations now.
Telefon. Only 3 men know the destruction it can trigger. The man who conceived it, the man who stole it.
Isn't that interesting? Remember 2 years ago when I interviewed him, and it was for the show, and that's when he said, no, Phyllis, it's not Tony Dorsett, it's Tony Dorsett, just because I like the sound of it.
What a year he has had. You know, Phyllis, I think that Tom Landry and the Cowboys have handled that situation so well. I know that early this year they said, why don't they put the Heisman Trophy winner in the starting lineup, and they waited until just the right psychological moment, and it's helped him, I think, a lot.
And isn't he terrific? I think we were talking during the piece. Dorsett has really come a long way this year.
He certainly
really
has. The NFL Today will continue on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
Bob and Emily are married to different people, at least in the fantasies that sweep them away tonight on CBS.
Hey, good buddies, this here's Big Ben telling you all about Hess Toy Trucks.
What a mighty toy.
Come on, get a Hess truck for your little girl or boy. Lights that shine on in the night.
What a mighty toy.
They got lights that really shine and a hose that really moves, all fully assembled for $249, including an ever-ready battery for the lights. They're at sparkling, clean Hess gasoline stations now.
Telethon. Only 3 men know the destruction it can trigger. The man who conceived it, the man who stole it, the man who must stop it. Charles Bronson, Lee Remick. Telethon. When it rings, no one is safe. Rated PG.
Now playing at red carpet theaters everywhere. Check newspapers for listing.
Mike, Monday, 4:30. We talk about coaching decisions that work and fail, and Irv Cross, we would certainly have to say that George Allen's decision to go with Billy Kilmer down the stretch was a good one.
No doubt about it, Brent.
Even
He's
though
the
the
man that
Rams
keeps the
got him
offense
right
going.
there.
Yeah. Well, of course, Kilmer's a guy who knows how to pick a defense apart, though. You know, that's one example. Of course, a tip ball there, and Frank Grant goes in with it. But when Kilmer's on the field, you know you're going to have continuity in your offensive attack, and he's a great field general.
Now here's Pat Hayden, and Dave Butts will come in and deflect the ball. And that's Jake Scott with the interception.
Yeah, one of the things the Rams didn't want to do, look, there's a Redskin player now, but the Rams didn't want to throw the ball as much as they're throwing it, even though the Redskins like to. And of course, Kilmer latches up here with Calvin Hill.
Fugate gets open on this, Irv, for their other touchdown. Now, watch the Redskin defense at work. This is what George Allen has always prided himself on.
Chris Hamburger, he calls that a buckeye. The weak linebacker comes and that near back goes away and got a sack.
Irv, why didn't they want to pass as much as they are?
Well, the Rams have always been a running team. They adhere to the theory that they have to run the ball 2 times, two-thirds of their offensive possession. And anytime they put the ball in the air, they feel the more they put it in the air, the more susceptible they are to the interceptions. And we're saying that. They're throwing the ball, and the Redskins, frankly, have had their hands on the ball quite a bit.
Do you think that psychologically the Rams will be able to come back in a game they trail when it doesn't mean too much to them?
I think their pride has been hurt. I really do. And I think you're going to see a better Ram team in the second half than you saw in the first half, only because they've been damaged a little bit internally. I think they said, hey, we've embarrassed ourselves in front of a national audience. Let's go out and play football the way we know how.
I just want to say they want to look good going into the next game, and psychologically, like you said, it all works in the mind. Really.
And, of course, there's another race that everyone's paying attention to, and that is the AFC East. Miami, New England, Baltimore, all three teams with a chance. A little bit later today, it'll be Buffalo and Miami, and I told you earlier that it had rained in Miami. It is not raining now. That's the latest report. The field is soggy, but there are no puddles, and it should be a good game. But as all of you know, Don Shula seldom loses to Buffalo. In fact, he never has. You have to go back to the old American Football League days to find an afternoon when the Bills were able to dump the Dolphins, and New England's hopes depend upon that upset. And the NFL today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Introducing the new Remington XLR, the electric shaver that shaved as close as a blade. And to prove it, we're doing something spectacular. We're giving away a blade to compare it with. We guarantee the Remington XLR will shave you as close as a blade or your money back. Now that's really spectacular. The Remington XLR shaves as close as a blade or your money back.
From blazing heat to paralyzing cold, season after season, the JCPenney battery has more power to start your car more dependably than any other car battery you can buy. And it never needs water. In fact, it's so dependable, it's warranted for as long as you own your car. If it ever fails to hold a charge, return it. We'll replace it, free. Only at JCPenney Auto Centers or catalog desks. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
That's a good picture. That's a better picture. Even closer. Even better. Polaroid's SX70 does, without attachments, what no other camera can do. Shoot from less than a foot away. In minutes, you have a color portrait, sharp and clear. Polaroid's SX70 Alpha 1.
Score against you and your opponent running out the clock, some teams might give up, but not the Washington Redskins. This is Eddie Brown. Playing for the nation's capital gives the Redskins an extra incentive. You can see the Capitol Dome itself from our stadium. We're not far from the monuments to Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington, and from Arlington National Cemetery. But it's our fans who really inspire us. They bring Washington, Maryland, and Virginia closer together. Many of them are volunteers in our United Way. They work for the Boy Scouts, Mental Health Services, YW and YMCA, and many other agencies funded by the United Way. The Washington area wouldn't be the same without them. They take pride in their city, their team, and their United Way. On behalf of the United Way volunteers in the National Capital area, we'd like to say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League.
What do you got there? Well, the amazing thing is the first quarter and the points, which is important with the Redskins, 14-0. But the Rams came back and got 7 for 17 passing. They seemed to control the tempo. They had 31 plays finally in the first half, and the Redskins managed 18 yards in the second quarter. Of course, they had the 14-point bulge and went to a prevent just before half. But if I was going to warn anybody right now, I would warn the Redskins that the game isn't over, because I think the Rams have now realized that that there is a tomorrow, but they better play today.
And I wonder if they did listen to Chuck Knox in the locker room at the half, the Rams, I mean.
Well, in the old days, there would have been a lot of throwing cleats up against the wall. I don't know what went on in there, but they're a very proud team, and I think one of the deepest in football, and probably came in as the best football team. And I don't think they're going to embarrass themselves before the country, before the playoffs any longer.
Well, of course, they're the Western Division champions. Yep. They'll be at home next week in the opening round of the playoffs to either the Bears or the Vikings or the Redskins.
And there are those stats.
And there are many possibilities. First half stats, which Tom was talking about a minute ago. Hayden off to a very slow start. Missed his first 9 passes and then hit 6 in a row.
Had 2 deflections. Had a couple of sacks, which is unusual. And no touchdowns, which is a little bit unusual, too.
Mark Mosley getting set to tee it up. And now has it teed up. And gets set to kick it off with that fence post leg. Look at that.
He's a hard worker. I knew him about 6 years ago when he couldn't reach the 35 with it, and that has been hard work. And an old shoe.
That'll do it now. He's had that same shoe for 6 years, by the way. Got no cleats on the bottom of it. Cullen Bryant back with Wendell Tyler, and this is Tyler, number 26. Jumps over a couple, gets out to about the 30. And kickoff by Mosley, and the tackler, let's see, was Eddie Moss.
Right away, let's look for the Spirit. Let's see what they show on the offensive side now for the Rams. We know that the old Redskins are going to play frequency and they're going to play smart, but let's see if Hayden and company have gotten it together.
They lead 14-0. The Redskins do. It'll be a first down, Rams at their own 29. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire at RFK Stadium in Washington. The first play of the second half is going to be held up just a second while they get the tee off the field. And that tee that Mosley uses is so tall that if somebody ran over it, it would be like getting tackled. Pat Hayden has started for the Rams and stayed in all day. Wendell Tyler and Rod Phillips are the running backs, and this will be Tyler. And he's got plenty of speed. Wendell Tyler outside the 40 to the 43, stopped by Carl Lorch. And Tyler almost broke it.
He's averaging a little over 5 yards a carry. A good block by Waddy, number 80, the young man you see right there, the rookie from Colorado. Watch 80 go in and take Dusek legally and really do a standoff with him.
Now the 14-yard gain by Wendell Tyler for a Ram first down. Opening seconds of quarter number 3. The Rams trailing the Redskins 14-0. And this is Rod Phillips by Chris Hamburger.
Different offense now. Tyler is small and fast. And watch Hamburger's problem now. And Phillips used to be a tight end. But I'll tell you, he is a great running back that can't get any time to play for the Rams. That's how deep they are.
Hamburger got away from the block by Tyler and got up and got back in time to make the tackle. Jackson split wide to the right. Billy Waddy to the left on 2nd and 8. No offside. Hayden, who sent it for Tyler, popped by McClinton just as the ball arrived, or maybe a little bit before.
And Harrell was looking for a flag, but I'll tell you, he really waited for the pass to be on the way. Watch this now. It'll come right for you. There's 53 McClinton. He's looking for Tyler, and Tyler has to look for the ball. Watch what happens. And they always say if you go to war, go with the middle linebacker.
Hayden calling now after he picked up the signal from the sideline from the Ram coaches as to what they wanted called on a 3rd and 8 situation.
They're 0-7 on 3rd down conversions, Patrick.
Incredible. Tyler and Rod Phillips both come out of the backfield. Hayden gets away from Lorch and throws. And there goes your flag. Justifiably so. Joe Lavender over the top.
Well, I tell you, Harold Jackson went deep, and when he saw Hayden in a little bit of trouble now, this will be deep downfield. We may see it from a different angle. They handled a twist by the Redskins. Now here's the reverse. Lorch is down, and now Jackson coming back can't get away as Lavender really drills him from behind, and this time much too early.
Enough for a Ram first down. Of course, it would have been automatic anyway.
Look how many flags were thrown in there. Came out of the upper deck.
Billy Kilmer looking on. He has thrown 2 touchdown passes in the event you joined us late. One that bounced off the hands of the Rams and into the hands of Frank Grant. That was 57 yards. Here is Hayden. Faking and throwing. And nothing doing. The other touchdown pass, legitimate strike to Fugit.
Now, Harold Jackson has not caught a pass. And last week we saw Mel Gray, the great threat for the Cardinals. He caught one sidelines and finally a deep one. They finally got the ball to him. But if you can keep that big guy off the board, maybe that's the best way to play the Rams.
Playoffs roasting on an open fire. They'll be roasting on CBS next week. Good luck to the Redskins. They've got a chance to be in those playoffs.
They've had some good luck already this game.
The Rams will be in the playoffs. Wendell Tyler, the ball carrier. Big Dave Butts wrapped him up.
Boy, is he playing well now. He came off a bad ankle, and he's had a few physical problems, but Butts is quite a load. He's number 65 in there.
For him, a bad ankle. His ankle is so big, it's a major injury.
Takes an archaeologist to work on it, right?
3rd and 7. Here's Hayden. He pumps and throws and misses. Jake Scott and Brad Dusick on the coverage. It was intended for Phillips. Capoletti, the reason he's not in there, our information is that he has a bruised rib.
And you know what the Redskins do in that secondary, and I'm talking about the linebackers too. Nobody goes through a zone or into an area without getting wrapped, and you got one legitimate chug. And I'll tell you, the Redskins really do it affirmatively, I'll tell you that.
They don't make many mistakes.
Not when it comes to hitting people, they don't.
Eddie Brown is deep, and it's Glenn Walker to punt. Flag goes down. Ball bounces like the Rams would like it to.
Bobby Wallace might have been downfield a little early for the Rams.
Al Cowlings is number 70. 33-yard punt that rolled dead at the 5-yard line. But there's a discussion going on. Defense offside.
That's pretty good field position for the Rams' cause if they've got the option this time. They'll get the first down, though, won't they? Here comes Mack back on.
Not really sure what's going on.
There's one ball down the 5-yard line being guarded by the official.
Yeah. Maybe it's his ball. Now looks like they might try a field goal.
Defense, number 40 offside. 4th down.
Defense was offside. Number 40 is Wyndham Hall.
Septian is 5 of 6.
Nolan Cromwell is number 21 holding. This will be a 51-yard attempt. The Redskins don't have anybody deep.
He's 0 for 1 from this distance.
He's 0 for 2. Short and left. And this ball, don't forget, comes back to that line of scrimmage. 14-0. The Washington Redskins have shut out the Rams so far.
Radio Shack has a great Space Age gift for kids at a down-to-earth price. The original Space Patrol walkie-talkie. Just $14.95 a pair, and they really work. Crystal-controlled and battery-operated, just like Dad's portable CD. And they're built in Radio Shack's own electronics factory. So this Christmas, thrill your kids with the $14.95 a pair Space Patrol. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy.
Introducing the Ford in your future. The new Ford Fairmont Wagon. A new wagon designed for today and the years ahead. The Fairmont wagon has excellent mileage ratings, but while it is trim and lean outside, Fairmont has almost 90% of the passenger space of most large wagons, and with the seat down can swallow up all this cargo. Yet for all this, the new Fairmont wagon as shown is actually sticker price less than this little VW Rabbit. Test drive Fairmont, the newest better idea from the Wagon Master.
12 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. Redskins 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Bill Tillman is number 17. Harmon stopped by Jack Reynolds. 2 or 3.
Pat, the Rams have to sort of take over the line of scrimmage on defense again, and I noticed they're off the ball about almost a yard, and they're playing off the ball, and they're having to catch the straight-ahead play now. Notice how far they are off the ball? And you're having to catch that man before you can make any kind of penetration. And as long as they stay off the ball that far, the best thing to do is straight at it.
3-yard pickup on 1st down makes it 2nd and 7 for Washington. Here's the handoff again to Harmon. And again he got 2 or 3. Isaiah Robertson, number 58, and Jack Reynolds.
Remember, the offense only got 18 yards in that second quarter, and George, you said it.
There is no tomorrow when you lose.
Now, if Minnesota loses and Chicago loses and the Redskins should lose, the Redskins would still be in a playoff.
They would go to the playoffs as the wild card team, and they would still play Los Angeles. If all three lose, the Redskins would go to the playoffs.
Kilmer's got to throw it.
3rd and 6 situation here now. And he is going to throw it, or try. And he does. And Calvin Hill, and there's that flag. He had him from behind, no doubt about it. Isaiah Robertson had Calvin around the waist.
Billy got on his tiptoes and just dumped it over, and Isaiah had the left arm, and it looked like it was hidden, but the official on this side of the field made a good call. Let's see if we can pick it up to the left center of your screen. There's Isaiah waiting for Calvin, who faked him pretty hard to the outside.
Pass interference.
Now, right? Yeah, he's got the left arm tugging him from behind before that ball gets there. I think it was a good call.
Yes, sir. It'll be a first down, Redskins. There's Calvin Hill, who's had a busy day.
And he wouldn't lie anyway.
Who, Calvin?
Very honest.
That's what Kilmer's done. 8 out of 14, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 picked off.
Why are the offensive guys such good guys and the defensive guys are such black-headed type characters, huh?
You just mean bad guys, huh?
That's right.
Outside, Calvin Hill. Youngblood, Jim Youngblood, number 53, made the open field tackle. And the hacksaw got there to make sure he stayed down.
Larry Brooks and company are beginning to take the line of scrimmage. Here he is working on Saul. Number 90's in there, Youngblood's in there, and Kilmer gets his back worked on. And then helped up.
Here's Larry Brooks.
Oh, man, what a player. He and Merlin together in there were some tandem, and Cody Jones is holding his own, too.
Second down, Redskins, 9 yards they need for a first down. Kilmer brings it back to Calvin Hill, and Calvin bangs straight ahead. Enough tacklers to get a first down. Pat Thomas made the tackle. 11-yard pickup by Calvin, a good run.
Now watch the stunt as Freddie Dryer sort of got a late start and ran by the point of attack and really opened up the hole. And we've said it too often, but when you stunt on defense, if one guy gets cut off, a lot of room.
Hill broke out of the grasp of Jim Youngblood and Bill Simpson. Busiest days he had in a long time. Carried the ball 14 times and has caught 4 passes.
He may have to play another game.
Youngblood might have jumped off. Calvin Hill trying to get to the outside and does. Few yards. Pat Thomas and Jim Youngblood made the tackle. Believe the Rams are offside, however.
Calvin ran that like an old single-wing tailback, didn't he? To dip in and get to the outside.
Yep. Redskins lead already 14-0. They scored those 14 points in the first quarter. They've been pretty quiet since then.
They're holding that ball now, and the Rams can't steal first base.
Defense, number 85, offside. This down.
1st and 5. Harold McClinton looks on.
Checking the clock, too, huh?
There's Dave Butts walking up behind him. See the picture? Leaning. At the 39. 1st and 5 for the Redskins. Calvin Hill trying again to get to the outside, and does. And it's stacked up after a couple by Monty Jackson and Jack Reynolds.
Let's see if we can pick up Billy Kilmer's cadence and call this time. Here's the play. Watch Harmon come out from the backfield, the fullback, and just get a standoff, as Dryer really does his job perfectly. And now there's nowhere to go.
Bill Simpson was shaken up a little bit on that last play. He got caught on a sandwich between Charlie Taylor and Calvin Hill. He is shaken. 14-0 the score in the third quarter in Washington.
Cicely Tyson for Color Track by RCA.
My rose is red, my skin is dark brown, and my dress is bright orange. If these colors don't look right to you, you should know about Color Track from RCA. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. It actually adjusts the colors and locks them on track.
Before you see the color track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
To make it in this business, you got to stay one step ahead of everybody else. So I've got something nobody else has. Sunoco's penny pinching pump. It could save you money on quality gas, like my 190, the gas that's made to sell below my regular. And most cars that run on regular can use it. Hey, if I don't want you to pass me by, I got to give you a price you can't pass up. Sunoco's penny pinching pump can fill up your tank for less. That's my way of being very friendly.
The Bible, the most enduring story ever told. A special holiday presentation on the CBS Friday night movies at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time.
Simpson has been helped off the field now, and Nolan Cromwell has taken his place.
He's young, but he's got a lot of talent. Simpson, though, probably should be in the Pro Bowl. He's one of the most underrated, great tight safety men around.
Second down situation for the Redskins now on the 37-yard line of Los Angeles. It'll be Calvin Hill dipping to the inside, and Calvin got enough for a first down before Isaiah Robertson made the tackle.
Clarence Harmon stayed with his block on Hacksaw Reynolds, and I'm telling you, for a 190-pounder, the fullback. Now watch this. Oh, it was on Dreyer. He cut him to the outside, and Reynolds was trailing and couldn't quite get Calvin Hill.
Cromwell has gone out now, and Simpson has come back.
Calvin has 51 yards now.
Washington with 12 first downs after that one. At the Ram 32, Kilmer called them. They're blitzing. Frank Grant, the intended receiver, Pat Thomas back there with him. They got a little tangled up at one time, but no complaint. There's Ron McDowell.
It should be on a mountain in South Dakota.
The Nebraska veteran. How many years for him?
16? No, that's Billy Kilmer.
17.
17.
Amazing.
He and Pat Fisher, I think, wandered out of there together. Nebraska, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I would say the Ram defense right now had really better get it going. They better get a turnover is what they better do.
It's 2nd and 10 now. 7 minutes and 46 seconds left in the third quarter. As Kilmer gives to Hill. Calvin maybe 6. Jim Youngblood. Hill is one of those guys who looks like he might get hurt every time he carries the ball.
Well, he used to. He used to jump all the time when he was with Dallas and did have a lot of injuries, but I think Calvin is playing this one for all of those good games or bad games that he's had. I really think that's part of the Washington mystique. I think they feel like every one of them might be their last game.
There is some speculation in Washington that this might be the last game for the head coach. Here, at least. For George Allen. He has not signed his contract. The Rams are blitzing, and Kilmer fires. That's complete to Fugit.
And he dropped it.
And he dropped it. I beg your pardon. Covered by Jackie Wallace.
Watch Billy Kilmer. You talk about being street tough and native intelligence. The blitz is from the right side of the formation, so he sprints right away from it and throws it a little low. Fugit should have caught that football. He was waiting for it.
Who was the guy they used to call Thunderfoot? Herman Wheeler, huh? Here's another Thunderfoot. Mark Mosley. It'll be a 45-yard attempt with Joe Theismann holding.
He's 8 for 20 from this distance.
Oh. That would have been good from 60. A shot by Mosley. 17-0. Redskins over the Rams on a 45-yard field goal by Mark Mosley. 17-0.
Hi, ever need to rent a car fast? Watch. Hertz, #1 club number 21586, arriving San Diego at 2 p.m. on RAL Flight 9. Returning it there tomorrow. Okay, thanks. That's all there is to it. When you're in the #1 club, nobody makes renting a car faster or easier than the Superstar. Even before you get there, your car is pre-assigned, your forms filled out. So rent a Ford fast from Hertz, the Superstar in rent-a-car.
We're good and tough, we're the Kellys. No roads too rough, we're the Kellys.
Meet the gas pincher. In our test on the 77 Pontiac Catalina, a set of these tough steel-belted radials squeezed 31 more miles out of a tank of gas than our non-radial tires. The gas pincher radial, economy and value. Only from the Kellys.
We're good and tough, we're the Kellys. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Another one of those monumental quotes from George Allen. Our backs are against the wall. He took that seriously.
I think any good athlete feels that way, don't you?
A high kick by Mosley. Tim Jodat breaks a couple of tacklers. And Jodat is finally cut down on the far side of the field. Good effort. Brown made the tackle, I believe.
And Kilmer ate up 5:21 of the third period with that last three-point effort.
The Redskins on defense. The Rams have Pat Hayden and the rest of the offensive group back in there. Nelson, the tight end, lined up on the right side of the offensive line. Waddy is split wide to the right. Harold Jackson left. The running backs Tyler and Rod Phillips. This is Wendell Tyler. Cuts back inside, stopped by Brad Dusek.
Brad Dusek, a linebacker that's coming like gangbusters. And I'm telling you, he played that. I'm thinking of the hard-nosed guys I've known in football. That's the way you would play it.
Three-yard pickup by Wendell Tyler. Hayden trying to keep his hands warm. Pockets in the front of his jersey. Not that cold, really. 45 degrees at noon. The Redskins shift. They shifted right again. They guessed right with that shift for the third time.
And when Chris Hamburger wasn't in there calling for the defense, I think they missed this little insignificant shifting and the right call at the right time. Watch Hamburger, top of your screen. Doug France had no chance to block him because he was there almost before the ball was handed off.
Clinton comes out. Eddie Brown goes in. The Redskins secondary. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Redskins 17. Rams nothing. Rod Phillips and Cullen Bryant, the running backs. Hamburger on Hayden.
Look at George Allen. He's out on the field. That's his defensive team, and he knows their names and everything.
I thought he was going to blitz.
The second blitz, and the second sack by Hamburger, and the third on young Pat Hayden.
Glenn Walker will punt for the Rams. Eddie Brown back deep for Washington. High kick, and Brown will have a chance to do something with this one. Gets it back in Ram territory. Cullen Bryant made the tackle. Gilbert leads the offensive unit on again. 17-0. Washington over Los Angeles. 4:50 left in the third quarter.
Ford introduces Futura, a dramatic combination of styling and technology for 1978 and beyond. Futura, designed by computer modeling and aerodynamic testing. It can provide excellent fuel economy and room for 5 passengers as well. Futura, designed for 1978 and beyond. Realistically priced for today. See your Ford dealer for a personal test drive.
keeps America comfortable.
Cotton keeps America feeling natural.
I'd do anything for Bill. So when he said that he wanted comfortable, breathable cotton shirts, I bought him Natural Blend shirts with 60% or more cotton plus durable press. So Bill gets cotton comfort and I get easy care. Natural Blend is great because I'd do anything for Bill, except iron shirts.
When you're looking for comfort, look for the seal of cotton. The more cotton, the better you feel.
Don't forget, right after the game, highlights of the WBC World Welterweight Championship. The battle between Carlos Palomino and Jose Palacios. The National Hot Rod Association World Championship also on the Sports Spectacular. The Arm Wrestling Championship of the United States and the World's Strongest Men competition. And Commissioner Larry O'Brien of the NBA discussing the suspension of Kermit Washington. Frank Grant was the guy in motion. The throw. Here's to Grant. Gets away from one guy. Got away from Pat Thomas. Monty Jackson made the tackle.
The 10th completion for Billy Kilmer, and this is the prototype Kilmer completion. Sprints left to the strong side of the formation, hits his man in motion. He's not trying to pose for a photographer. He just gets it there. Grant, by the way, is a very sure-handed receiver when he's being hit. He's excellent.
Just shy of a first down before he went out of bounds. Line of scrimmage, the Ram 39. 4:46 left third quarter. Second and 1. Grant again in motion. Handoff is to Calvin Hill, and he hurdles over the top for a first down, Redskins. Cody Jones in the bottom of the pile for the Rams.
I'm wondering what Bill Austin did with his offensive line. Now, we saw them rush the ball pretty well last week against St. Louis, but that was the St. Louis defense. I'm telling you, that time, not a Ram crossed the line of scrimmage. They're doing a great job offensively against this defense.
First and 10, Washington. Clock down to 4 minutes and 10 seconds left third quarter now. Calvin Hill straight ahead. Larry Brooks, number 90, in the bottom of the pile for the Rams. Jack Reynolds helped out.
Right at the heart of the defense. Reynolds, Cody Jones, and Larry Brooks straight ahead. Hill now has 61 yards and 19 carries.
Larry Brooks just left. Mike Fanning comes in. Brooks looked like he might have damaged his shoulder.
Fanning is 6'7", about 265 out of Notre Dame.
Yep. Second and 6 situation. Grant made a heck of a catch. Pat Thomas, the tackler.
Thomas is also arguing, but this is a pretty good catch, or almost. The quick one, 2 steps, straight out, underthrown. Watch Grant make the adjustment.
Beauty.
He got away with it. I don't know if he turned over with the ball or not, but Thomas made sure of something.
It'll be 3rd and 1.
Pressure just eats Kilmer up, doesn't it?
Yeah. He's really nervous. Clarence Harmon underneath. Bill Simpson came up from his safety man spot to make the tackle. Harmon is close enough for Bob Frederick perhaps to measure.
Boy, I'll tell you, Stark and Hermeling and company are really blocking the line of scrimmage, and it's close. Look at Charlie Taylor in there.
George Allen, I think, has made the decision not to field goal it, but to go for it. Bob Frederick wants the change brought out. Somebody wrote me a letter and said that was incorrect when I said they bring the chains out.
That is?
There's only one chain.
Oh, I see what you mean. But several links. Let's watch this. Look at the jury is out, right? Now look, Kilmer's expanding his arm to show how far. It's a pretty good distance, too.
We'll see Mosley. Just about a yard short. Mosley will have an attempt from almost exactly the same place he hit from moments ago. Theismann should hold about the 45.
And this has been the tough distance for him. As you said, over 50 is not a problem, but the last one he kicked, he didn't take anything off of it, did he, Patrick? He just banged it.
It would have been good from 20 yards further back. Theismann at the 35, so the posts are 45 yards away. This one he shanked. Way right.
And the ball comes out, gives L.A. pretty good field position.
Comes back to that original line of scrimmage. The bowl lineup, don't forget, it's a good one. Penn State 10-1, Arizona State 9-2 in the Fiesta Bowl, Christmas Day. The Sun Bowl, Saturday, December the 31st, Stanford and LSU from El Paso. That
Benjamin against Alexander for LSU, huh?
Stanford always has a good quarterback.
Texas
against Notre Dame.
The whole world against Texas.
First down. Los Angeles has the football. Rod Phillips has it now. 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Vince Ferragamo is the Ram quarterback.
Remember the Fiesta Bowl we did 2 or 3 years ago when he was the Nebraska quarterback?
6'3", 208. The rookie can throw it, too.
He's only thrown one. He's completed one so far in the season, but in preseason football, he looked like he had all the makings.
4-yard pickup. Ferragamo calls the signal. Redskins lead it. Wendell Tyler for a Ram first down, stopped by Chris Hamburger. Ran him down from behind. 17-0. Washington over Los Angeles.
I tell you, Saul and Horton and Williams really opened up a hole that time on this side. And McDowell plays a run probably as well as any defensive end in the league.
I guess you should mention that if the Redskins and the Bears wind up in a tie, there is a point differential of 44+ to Chicago. Here's Wendell Tyler. That is before this contest. Brad Dusick and Jake Scott made the tackle.
Watch Tyler now come through the hole. He's only 188 pounds, but he set the block up perfectly for Saul. Once in a while he loses the handle, but right now the Rams have to gamble, and Capoletti has the bad ribs, doesn't he?
Bruised, they say. Don't know how serious. This is Rod Phillips. Phillips inside the 45 in the Washington territory. 17-0 Redskins over Rams.
Do you think Knox is resting McCutcheon?
I would.
I think we've seen that, though, and now we're also seeing Pat Hayden get a little time off.
There's the Nebraska rookie, Ferragamo. Outside throw. Hurried by Hamburger.
Hurried by Hamburger. Sounds like a slogan.
Maybe George Allen ought to use that. That's the end of the third quarter with the score, Washington 17, Los Angeles 0. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Helen Reddy sings and Ken Berry dances in the second Sunday night edition of The Carol Burnett Show. Tomorrow at 10, 9 Central and Mountain on CBS.
You asked for it, you got it. The car of the 80s is here. The new Toyota Celica Liftback. A car which meets or exceeds all 1980 federal fuel economy and safety standards. An aerodynamic work of art with the best Toyota engineering features of our time. A durable car built to last the trip to your tomorrow. The new Celica Liftback. The car of the 80s.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
Marantz. One of the world's greatest names in stereo sound products. Marantz Stereo has a true musical sound with virtually no distortion to come between you and the music. Whatever music you enjoy it more on Marantz Stereo. Marantz is music.
Channel 2 News at 7.
There's Redskin President Edward Bennett Williams.
That's Art Buchwald there in the fur-coated job, isn't it, with his cigar and all?
And the guy down front, of course, is the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio. Very close friend of Ed Williams.
I'd like to see Buchwald's column on this, wouldn't you?
Rams third down situation now at the Redskin 44. First play of quarter number 4 coming up right here. Vince Ferragamo drops. Throws. Terry Nelson made the catch, broke a couple of tackles, lost the football. Rams got it. The Redskins had a shot, but the Rams recovered.
Watch Ferragamo come over the top. Pat told you how big he is. Watch this big young quarterback come over the top and really hum it. And Nelson hangs on to it in a crowd. Boy, I'll tell you, this tight end's got speed, too. A little rip in here. Good block by Waddy, or almost. And Houston has his hands full, and Kenny gets the ball out, doesn't he? Brown looks for it.
Greg Horton is the guy who got the ball back for the Rams, the offensive guard. And they got another first down out of that. Rod Phillips breaks a tackle or two. Still on his feet. Phillips cutting back inside the 10 to the 8. Gerard Williams made the tackle.
Phillips had only carried it 29 times before today. Obviously, with McCutcheon and Cappelletti, not much work. Watch this. Williams with a good block out there. Tyler gets in the way. Phillips runs over everybody. Jake Scott first, Houston second. Those are both tough ones to get away from. Good play by Gerard Williams, boy. I'll tell you, he saved a touch.
14-yard pickup by Phillips. First and goal for Los Angeles. Line of scrimmage, the 8. Vince Ferragamo calling signal. Wendell Tyler. Wrapped up after about a yard. Brad Dusick. Harold McClinton. Ken Houston.
You call them off. Just take a look at it. Behind the offense and let it go. Tyler. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Maybe one, so we'll make it second and goal at the 7. Washington 17, Los Angeles nothing. Rock Phillips, by the way, is from Jackson State. 6 feet, 220. Wendell Tyler and Jim Jodat. And now the Ram running back. Ferragamo goes down on the sack. Chris Hamburger again.
And this time the Rams kept Jodat and Phillips in the block. Notice the two backs setting up. And Ferragamo has a lot of time. There's nobody open. Hamburger gets away from the blocker. Ferragamo, though, did not give up the football. Very important item.
Back to the 17-yard line on that sack. Third and goal still from the 17.
They anticipated the blitz, and darn it, the Redskins still didn't pull it off.
Heck of a day for Hamburger. The player, I mean. No blitz this time. Nelson gets in. Just into the corner of the end zone. Tight end Terry Nelson. Ken Houston and Eddie Brown were there, but he got in.
You're behind the Redskins secondary. He'll go from left to right. There he goes. Ball is really thrown well by Ferragamo, and good pass blocking. And touchdown number 3 for 83. And he just made it, didn't he?
Just barely. But just barely was good enough at 17-6. Raphael Septian. Try the extra point. Nolan Cromwell will hold. There's the touchdown again. 17-7 the score now. With exactly 12 minutes left to play in this contest, the Redskins lead the Rams by 10, 17-7. It's been a good game.
Hey, look at that. It's a chainsaw with its case. Uh-oh, somebody left it. Probably taking a coffee break. It's a McCulloch Mac 140. Wow. It's got automatic oiling. That's slick. This is the chain brake safety feature. Yeah. It stops the chain in less than 1/10 of a second. That's fast. And look at these teeth. They sharpen themselves with a press of a button. Mine don't.
The McCulloch Mac 140. You can't buy another chainsaw with all these features at any price.
That McCulloch's got just about everything. Yeah, but I bet it can't swim. Good point.
McCulloch. In the yellow pages, under saws.
Excuse me, champ. Great fight. Now, we'd like to take away your Schlitz and have you endorse our beer.
You want to take away my gusto? Say, you tickle me. You want to take away my Schlitz, my gusto. Well, I'm going to play Picasso. And put you on the canvas. You're going to be down for a count so long, they're going to use a calculator. Take away my gusto.
If you don't have Schlitz, you don't have gusto. Brother, you don't have beer.
Schlitz.
CBS Sports presents the Cotton Bowl, where the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns with Heisman Trophy winner Earl Campbell take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. That's the Cotton Bowl, January 2nd.
Raphael Septien, #1, who just put on the 7th point for the Rams, will kick off now. Eddie Brown's deep for Washington. Line drive kickoff, and Brown ought to get it back up well past the 20. He does. Eddie Brown to the 40. 33-yard kickoff return by Eddie Brown. Bob Pifferini stopped him.
Now you feel like the stadium crowd here, and we're all included in this right now because we're really close to the action here. This is a big offensive series. Don't give it back without points, or at least give the Rams deep in their own territory that shot. But 7 points meant a lot for Los Angeles.
Brown got it back to the 40. Charlie Taylor splits wide to the right. Grant is left. Kilmer has Harmon and Hill. Running backs behind him, and they've been there all day. Harmon, frisked, couple of tackles. Gets about 8. Jack Youngblood finally made the stop with an assist from Dave Elmendorf.
Let's watch Stark and Jack Youngblood. Stark goes on through. Youngblood just runs out of it. They did a good job on Cody Jones, and that's Hermelin that's in there. Straight ahead.
2nd and 2. Clarence Harmon. A strong run on first down. Ball to Redskin 48. Alvin Hill gets perhaps to midfield, a little bit shy of a first down, I think.
The Ram defensive line is a little slow now pursuing, a little slow going back to the huddle. Youngblood takes the inside, is held momentarily by Fugit, and really gets rolled over. Good defensive play by Reynolds.
Clarence Harmon got that big block on Youngblood. Not him. It is a first down.
A little under 11 minutes left. Rams got to get the football.
Ball right at midfield. 17-7. Redskins still hoping for a spot in the playoffs, which begin next week.
They're pretty macho about it, I'll tell you. They've done some hitting today.
And last week in St. Louis, too. Harmon. Youngblood again made the tackle. Jack. But they're doing a good job in the middle of that line. You got to give some credit to Lenny Hawes.
Oh, Lenny Hawes, 196 straight that he started last week. This is 197, and he and Hermling that time just cleared them out.
To the 44. Where it'll be 2nd and 4. Chris McKilman. Quick count. Harmon got very little that time. Jack Reynolds, the middle linebacker, filled with authority.
Quickly.
Solidly.
The Rams secondaries begin to crowd the line of scrimmage a little bit. Like anybody else, they have to come up and play it a little tighter, a little tighter. And Kilmer, I guess if I had $1,000 on the hard 8, I'd let him roll the dice for me.
I would imagine he has noticed that little fact you just mentioned. If anybody would, he would. Outside Taylor. catch. Pat Thomas on the coverage. Kilmer is down. And now he's up.
He's up, he's down, right?
See what happened to him.
Now watch how nifty Billy sets up in the pocket.
Oh, it's a blitz.
And there comes the blitz. No way they could hold off on it. That was legal. And Charlie Taylor is such a dangerous threat that it's a pretty safe throw, even though that one was close, because Thomas plays him tight.
First pass Taylor's caught today. I beg your pardon. He caught a pass for no yards early in the game. They tried to set up a wide screen. So that's his second reception. That's a Redskin first down. At the Ram 39. 9:09 left to play. They were blitzing.
The left guard moved, but maybe the left offensive guard was pulled off. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Watch the right of your screen. There's Saul coming off. And Reynolds is coming on. Reynolds, though, has the option. He can move back there as long as he's not near the line of scrimmage. From a different view.
Ball starts. Number 64 on the offense.
Ball start.
First down.
By Ron Saul.
Officials have done an incredibly good job, and it's a tough one to do because both teams know what they're doing. They don't get this far not knowing how to play the rules.
Redskins would finish the year at 9-5 if they win this. Here's Harmon. Clarence gets about 6. Jack Youngblood caught him from behind.
Calvin Hill is a blocker today, too. Calvin went out in front along with Charlie Taylor, and they backed the Rams off the line of scrimmage again.
Ball's on the 38-yard line. Clock running at 8:45 left to play. Ram record is 10-3 coming in.
And 3 shutouts.
Frank Grant comes wide right. Taylor's left. Kilmer tiptoes back and throws deep for Herman. Picked off by Elmendorf. He circles back to the 20. To the 25. Elmendorf still banging away. Out to the 38. What an individual effort. Outstanding by Elmendorf.
He's been playing hurt, too, Pat. The second interception for Elmendorf. And a great offensive weapon for the Rams has been the way they run back interceptions. They're all great ball carriers, and they don't give up. I think this run back will show you that. Youngblood gets a block. Isaiah's looking for a block. They're on offense, on defense.
17-7. Redskins lead it over the Rams.
A guy I know tells me this new Sunbeam adjustable groomer razor is the greatest shaver ever made. Well, I say, so what? I'm a blade man. He says, try it and you won't be. He's right.
Here's how Sunbeam's new groomer razor works. 12 stainless steel blades cut at 8,000 strokes a minute through the thinnest shaving head you can get. Stands whiskers up and shears them off, at or below the skin line.
You a blade guy? Try this. It may be the last time you use a blade.
Do you know me? I created the Muppets.
Big deal!
Everybody knows them, but not me. So when I travel, I carry the American Express card. It's backed by over 600 travel service offices around the world, and each one is like a home away from home, except the Muppets aren't there.
Hey, wait a minute, Bob!
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card.
Don't leave home without it!
8 minutes, 11 seconds left to play at RFK.
Pat, the Rams have averaged 20-something yards a run back on the interceptions. 400 and some odd yards just getting the other guy's ball and lugging it.
Elmendorf got it back to the 38 where the Rams take it over. 1st and 10. Vince Ferragamo is the Ram quarterback. Ferragamo hits Cullen Bryant. Harold McClinton over the top of Big Cullen.
Curl out of the backfield, and the one thing that the Redskins have to guard against is just before the first half, if they play the prevent too loose, Ferragamo might be able to take them down close. And Nelson has 6 for 66 yards and a touchdown catch, the tight end.
7:40 left to play now. Wendell Tyler and Rod Phillips, the running backs on the Ram backfield. 2nd and 4. Phillips. Out of bounds at the Redskins 32. Joe Lavender finally got him out of bounds.
Here's the fella that they have so many backs. A couple of times they almost cut him at the end of the season. And I mean to tell you, he got through a big hole. Doug France did a great job. And also Tom Mack on that left side.
24-yard gain by Phillips for a Ram first down. A lot of people in front of that Redskin bench and in the stands looking at the scoreboard clock to see that 7 minutes and 24 seconds remain. The Redskins lead by 10. The Rams are roaring. Ferragamo for Waddy. A few. Ken Houston wrestled him down.
Oh, it's a good thing Gerard Williams has Kenny Houston making sure on the inside, because Waddy almost slips the tackle. Ferragamo away from the blitz. Hamburger was coming again. Watch this move. And there's Kenny Houston. He doesn't miss many, does he?
He got away from Gerard Williams. 4 out of 5 by that young man.
He was spawned in Southern California, where a lot of good quarterbacks play high school football.
The V is for Vince. 2nd and 5. Phillips. Again, he breaks tackles. Rod Phillips circling back. At the 5. At the 3. Carl Lortz finally got him down, but what an effort by Phillips for 26 yards.
And does this bring the team up off the bench? And I'm talking about the Rams. Their second-line people are putting the darn game back into perspective. Look at this. Breaks 2 tackles. Dusick, one of them. Houston just missed. Look at the leg drive on this. And he hadn't had a chance to play much. So now he puts the head down. That's a run.
He keeps playing like that, he'll get a chance to play a lot. Phillips, 6 carries for 73 yards. And he has been tough with the football. 1st and goal at the 3 for the Rams. They trail by 10. Phillips. There's that Cullen Bryant.
The ball was loose on the bottom of that pile.
Phillips.